Chapter 44-27. That's right. Wang Kuei nodded. The current Meng family has been promoted from a second-rate family to a first-rate family in Kanglin City. All this is because their family gave birth to an ultimate powerhouse. The Meng family's grand elder, Meng Tianfeng. The Meng family's grand elder, Meng Tianfeng. Duan Ling Tian had heard this name from many people in Blue Dawn City. He knew that the Meng family's ultimate powerhouse was Meng Tianfeng, so he did not feel anything when Wang Kuei mentioned his name. Wang Kuei seemed to have something to say but hesitated after he finished speaking. Duan Ling Tian smiled faintly and said, "Patriarch Wang, I'm sure you won't mention the Meng family of Kanglin City for no reason. If Patriarch Wang has something to say, please speak frankly." At this moment, Duan Ling Tian only thought that the news of his strength at such a young age had spread to the Meng family of Kanglin City. The Meng family of Kanglin City might be extending an olive branch to him. Apart from that, he could not figure out why Patriarch Wang Kuei of the Wang family had such a troubled expression. He was most likely worried that he would be poached by the Meng family of Kanglin City. However, in the next moment, Duan Ling Tian was even more certain that the Meng family of Kanglin City wanted to rope him in. The direct descendant of the Meng family's ultimate powerhouse, Meng Tianfeng, wants to see me? Duan Ling Tian raised an eyebrow. Patriarch Wang, do you know why he wants to see me? Although he had guessed it, he did not point it out and ask the obvious. However, when Wang Kuei spoke again, Duan Ling Tian was stunned. He realized that he had misunderstood. The descendant of the ultimate powerhouse of the Meng family of Kanglin City was not here to rope him in but to compete with him for Wang Luoyu. Patriarch Wang, do you mean? In the past, he came to propose marriage but was rejected by the Wang family? Now that an ultimate powerhouse has appeared in the Meng family and he has the backing of an ultimate powerhouse, he wants to make a comeback and ruin the marriage between Wang Luoyu and me? Duan Ling Tian raised an eyebrow, and his gaze instantly became sharp. That's what he meant. At the same time, Wang Kuei nodded and said righteously, however, "Young Master Li Feng, don't worry. Our Wang family will definitely stand on your side. I've also bluntly rejected Meng Yuzheng. However, he still insists on meeting you, young Master Li Feng. Most likely, he is still unconvinced and wants to see what kind of person our Wang family betrothed Luoyu to, and what kind of background he has." Not interested. Hearing Wang Kuei's words, Duan Ling Tian immediately responded in an indifferent tone. If I were to meet any Tom, Dick, or Harry who comes looking for me, I, Li Feng, would be lowering my status. A descendant of a newly ascended powerhouse dares to ruin my wedding? How laughable. Patriarch Wang, since you said that the Wang clan's attitude is clear, then there's no need to bother with him anymore. I'm not interested in seeing him anyway. Duan Ling Tian made his stance clear in a domineering manner. In the face of Duan Ling Tian's strength, Wang Kuei's heart trembled. When the young man in front of him mentioned the words newly ascended powerhouse, his tone was obviously contemptuous. It was obvious that he did not think highly of the newly ascended powerhouse. A person with such confidence was either deliberately mystifying or had an even more powerful person behind him. With his achievements at such a young age, it's basically impossible for him to be deliberately mystifying. There should be an extremely powerful supreme powerhouse behind him. Moreover, it should be a supreme powerhouse outside of Tiansha. When he thought of this, Wang Kuei's heart trembled. At the same time, he was somewhat relieved that he had rejected Meng Yuzheng. Otherwise, he would have offended this person in front of him. The person behind Meng Yuzheng was only a newly ascended supreme powerhouse. Even if the few supreme powerhouses who had connections with the Wang clan were only mediocre among the supreme powerhouses, it was enough to deter the newly ascended supreme powerhouse from the Meng clan. However, the supreme powerhouse behind this young man named Li Feng could be a powerful existence among the supreme powerhouses. Even if the Wang clan had connections with a few supreme powerhouses, they would not dare to provoke such a supreme powerhouse. This was because it was very likely that the other party could rely on his own strength to deal with those supreme powerhouses. As expected, these heaven-defying geniuses rarely have any roots. Every one of them is someone with a powerful background. At this moment, Wang Kuei's back was drenched in cold sweat. "Young Master Li Feng, don't worry. I'll pass on the message immediately." Wang Kuei quickly replied. Compared to before, his tone was more respectful. Previously, he was only impressed by the young man's heaven-defying talent and strength. Now, he was completely intimidated by the supreme powerhouse behind the other party. Although the other party's talent and comprehension were high and his strength was strong, if he wanted to deal with the Wang clan now, it would be like striking a rock with an egg. However, if the supreme powerhouse behind the other party made a move, the Wang clan could be destroyed. As the current head of the Wang clan, he naturally did not want the Wang clan to be destroyed by his own hands. If that happened, how could he face his ancestors? After Wang Kuei left, Duan Lingtian's side regained its peace. However, while Duan Lingtian's side was calm, Meng Yujing of the Meng clan of Kanglan City flew into a rage when he found out that Duan Lingtian had no intention of meeting him. Head of the Wang clan, if he doesn't want to meet me, then I'll meet him. I'd like to see what kind of thing he is. How dare he ignore me? A member of the Meng clan who received orders from a supreme powerhouse to marry Wang Luoyu. At this moment, Meng Yujing was like an enraged beast. However, in the face of his rage, Wang Kuei snorted coldly. Young Master Meng Yujing, this is the Wang clan, not your Meng clan. Young Master Li Feng will become the son-in-law of the Wang clan in half a month's time. Now, he can be considered half a member of the Wang clan. If you want to meet him, you'd better wait until the wedding date in half a month's time. At this moment, Wang Kuei was furious. It was because of this fellow that he had almost offended young Master Li Feng, and might have destroyed the Wang clan. Meng Yujing naturally ignored Wang Kuei and clamored to meet the two grand elders of the Wang clan. In his opinion, the head of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei, was not strong enough to go against the wishes of his great-grandfather, the supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng. Head of the Wang clan, let the two grand elders come out for a meeting. I'm afraid you alone can't represent the entire Wang clan. The Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiaoting, stared at Wang Kuei with an unfriendly gaze and said in a low voice, Young Master Meng Yujing just wants to meet the young man chosen by the Meng clan. Is this request very high? The Meng clan is unwilling to even agree to such a small request from young Master Meng Yujing, who has been instructed by the Supreme Lord. Tan Xiaoting's tone became increasingly unfriendly as he spoke. Since the two of you want to meet the Grand Elders, there's naturally no problem. Please follow me to the guest hall. Wang Kuei was also somewhat irritated by the two of them being so difficult to deal with. He kept bringing up the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng, and even said that he alone could not represent the Wang clan. Could it be that these two fellows thought that the two grand elders of the Wang clan were senile and did not know who was more important? Meng Yujing was making a fuss. It was not a big fuss, but it was not a small one either. After all, the person he was making a fuss about was the current head of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei. Almost everyone in the Wang clan knew Wang Kuei. Therefore, when Meng Yujing and Tan Xiaoting were brought to the guest hall by Wang Kuei again, the news of Meng Yujing's unfriendly visit began to spread in the Wang clan. That Meng clan of Kanglan City really thinks that they are invincible just because they produced a supreme powerhouse? They want Meng Yujing to come over and forcefully marry Wang Luoyu? Humph. The Meng clan is only a newly promoted first-class clan. In the history of the Meng clan, this is the first supreme powerhouse of their clan. On the other hand, our Wang clan has produced supreme powerhouses in the past, and they have been reigning supreme for many years. Even today, they still have the power to protect us. Compared to our ancestors of the Wang clan, that Meng Tianfeng of the Meng clan is nothing. Shh! Lower your voice. After all, he is a supreme powerhouse. If he takes issue with you for being disrespectful to him, even the clan won't be able to protect you. The news spread in the Wang clan, and naturally, it spread to the person involved, Wang Luoyu. When Wang Luoyu heard about this matter, she could not help but frown. She knew that the wedding in half a month was only a part of her elder brother Duan's plan. After the wedding, elder brother Duan would bring her away from the Wang clan and Kanglan City. She had even been waiting for that day to come step by step. She did not expect such an unforeseen event to suddenly occur. Will elder brother Duan be able to withstand the pressure from the Meng clan? When she thought of this, Wang Luoyu could not help but feel slightly worried. However, when she understood the ins and outs of the matter, she heaved a sigh of relief. Based on the current news, the clan seems to be on elder brother Duan's side. Just as Wang Luoyu heaved a sigh of relief, Yi Changwei brought the old woman who followed her like a shadow to the courtyard and greeted Wang Luoyu. Sister Luoyu, are you in? Sister Changwei. Wang Luoyu stood up and left the courtyard. She welcomed Yi Changwei and Yi Changwei in and greeted the old woman beside Yi Changwei at the same time. Sister Luoyu, I heard that someone from the Meng clan of Kanglan City came and requested to change your wedding partner in half a month to Meng Yujing of the Meng clan. Yi Qiangwei went straight to the point as soon as she entered the courtyard. Her willowy eyebrows were tightly knitted together. Moreover, Meng Yujing even brought an envoy under the command of the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan. He said that this is the will of the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan. When Yi Qiangwei mentioned the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan, there was a hint of fear in her tone. The Meng clan of the past was nothing. However, due to the birth of a new supreme powerhouse, the Meng clan of today was like a carp leaping over the dragon gate. They could no longer be underestimated. That's what I heard. Wang Luoyu nodded. However, the clan has already expressed that the clan supports Big Brother Li Feng and will not listen to the Meng clan's unreasonable request. As she finished speaking, the corners of Wang Luoyu's mouth curled up into a smile as if she was relieved of a heavy burden. I heard that too. Yi Qiangwei nodded. I came to look for you because of this. Sister Luoyu, what kind of person is that Big Brother Li Feng of yours? He can actually make the Wang clan be willing to offend the Meng clan of Kanglan City, who now has a supreme powerhouse, for him. Chapter 44-28. Big Brother Li Feng. Faced with Yi Qiangwei's question, Wang Luoyu was first stunned before she smiled shyly. Sister Qiangwei, actually, I'm not too sure about Big Brother Li Feng's background. You're not sure about his background? Yi Qiangwei's eyes widened in disbelief. You mean, you don't even know his background and you intend to marry him? At this moment, Yi Qiangwei was slightly stunned. For the first time, she felt she didn't know her best friend before her. In her impression, her best friend called Wang Luoyu was absolutely not such a rash person. I only know that he's from outside the Heavenly Sand region. Wang Luoyu smiled lightly. As for the rest, I haven't asked yet. At the same time, I feel there's no need. After all, I like him as a person and not his background. The current Wang Luoyu was smiling like a little girl who'd lost her rationality because of love. The more she was like this, the more curious Yi Qiangwei was about the Big Brother Li Feng that Wang Luoyu mentioned. Although this Li Feng was praised by Sister Luoyu to be unparalleled in the world, if he's really compared to that young man called Duan Lingtian, I'm afraid he's still lacking by quite a bit, right? After seeing Wang Luoyu's infatuation with that Li Feng, a violet figure couldn't help but appear in Yi Qiangwei's mind. She felt that Li Feng was definitely inferior to Duan Lingtian. I'll be able to see that Li Feng in half a month's time. At that time, I want to see exactly what kind of person can actually make Sister Luoyu so infatuated with him. In Yi Qiangwei's heart, she became more and more curious about Li Feng. After Yi Qiangwei left, Wang Luoyu hurriedly left her residence and went to look for Duan Lingtian. Elder brother Duan, that Meng Yujing of the Azure Water City's Meng clan won't cause trouble, right? After all, he has a new supreme expert behind him. When Wang Luoyu saw Duan Lingtian, she voiced her concern. If that ultimate powerhouse were to take action for him, elder brother Duan, I'm afraid you would be in great danger. How about we change our plan? Although Wang Luoyu also wanted to escape the cage that was the Wang family, she did not wish for anything to happen to the kind-hearted youth in front of her. In her opinion, it was already very difficult for the other party to fulfill his promise to her brother. She didn't want to see the other party throwing himself into danger. No need. Duan Lingtian shook his head. Let's proceed according to the original plan. Not to mention the fact that the ultimate master might not personally make a move for him. Even if he did, the Wang family is not to be trifled with. Duan Lingtian was very clear in his heart. Originally, half a month later, even if the Wang clan invited those supreme experts who were familiar with the ancestors of the Wang clan, they might not necessarily show up. But now, for the sake of safety, the Wang clan would definitely invite at least one supreme expert to hold the fort. After all, the peerless genius named Li Feng was far more valuable in the eyes of the Wang clan than the mere threat from the Azure Water City's Meng clan. Duan Lingtian explained the pros and cons to Wang Luoyu. Only then did Wang Luoyu relax. At the same time, she felt that this person whom her brother Wang Yiyuan had entrusted before his death was far more reliable than she had imagined. On the other side, Meng Yujing had never imagined that even if the Wang clan's grand elder came personally, he would act like the Wang clan leader, Wang Kuei. Not only did he not support him in marrying Wang Luoyu, but he also did not allow him to forcibly meet the youth named Li Feng. Although only the Wang clan's grand elder came, the other party's meaning was very clear. He alone was enough to represent the two Wang clan's grand elders. That old fellow named Wang Jingrao. I didn't expect him to act like Wang Kuei and not show any respect to me and the ancestor. Currently, Meng Yuzheng was personally sent out of the Wang clan by Wang Kuei. Although Wang Kuei had invited him to attend the wedding of Wang Luoyu and another man in half a month's time, it was no different from humiliation. Therefore, after Meng Yuzheng left the Wang clan and found an inn in Blue Sky City to stay, he was extremely embarrassed and furious. This won't do. I can't let this matter rest. I can't take this lying down. The more Meng Yuzheng thought about it, the angrier he became. At the same time, he looked at the middle-aged man beside him. Uncle Tan, can you contact the ancestor and ask him to personally come to the Wang clan in half a month's time to pressure the Wang clan? The middle-aged man was none other than the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xueqi. He had come with Meng Yuzheng. When Meng Yuzheng was sent out of the Wang clan, he was sent out as well. When Tan Xueqi heard Meng Yuzheng's words, he raised his eyebrows slightly. I've already reported this matter to the Honorable Lord. The Honorable Lord is very angry that the Wang clan did not show him any respect. As for whether the Honorable Lord will personally come in half a month's time, that will depend on the Honorable Lord himself. Tan Xueqi paused for a moment before he continued. Moreover, the Honorable Lord also said, the Wang clan would definitely not support a foreign boy for no reason. That kid most likely has an extraordinary background or something special. Moreover, although the Wang clan no longer has any supreme powerhouses, if anything happens to the Wang clan, the few supreme powerhouses that the ancestor of the Wang clan is on good terms with who are still alive might not just stand by and do nothing. Tan Xueqing's words made Meng Yuzheng feel even more aggrieved. He suddenly felt that having a supreme powerhouse as his backing was not as good as before. Humph. Meng Yuzheng's eyes flashed as he thought of the blow he had suffered from the Wang clan today. The ancestor is afraid of the Wang clan, but I am not afraid of that guy called Li Feng. This is the Sky Sand territory. He is someone from outside the Sky Sand territory. Even if he is a dragon crossing the river, in front of our Zhonglan City's Meng clan, he still has to be obedient. In half a month's time, I'd like to see what kind of person he is. I'd like to see if he can withstand the anger and threat of our Zhonglan City's Meng clan. He is the husband of a lowly female descendant of the Wang clan. If something really happens to him, will the Wang clan really fall out with me and even our Zhonglan City's Meng clan? When a person dies, a lot of value will no longer exist. As Meng Yuzheng muttered to himself, his expression became more and more ferocious. His eyes were filled with killing intent as if he was about to devour someone. Uncle Tan. Meng Yuzheng looked at Tan Xueqi and pleaded with a sincere expression, in half a month's time, I will send a message to that guy to force him to take the initiative to break off the engagement. It's fine if he knows what's good for him. If he doesn't, I'd like to ask Uncle Tan to make a move and kill him. At this moment, Meng Yuzheng was jealous of the young man named Li Feng whom he had never met before. At the same time, he also had the intention to kill him. However, Tan Xueqi frowned when he heard this. That person is able to make the Wang clan willingly bear the pressure of their pride to marry Wang Luoyu to him. I'm afraid he's not an ordinary person. Before we find out his background, I don't recommend making a move on him. After all, Tan Xueqi had lived for a long time, so he had a clearer view of many things. When Meng Yuzheng heard this, his brows furrowed slightly before they relaxed. He grinned. As far as I know, you're quite well versed in the Tao of assassination. I'm sure you'll be able to kill him under the circumstances where others can't find any clues, right? When Tan Xueqi heard this, his brows raised. Even so, it's still slightly risky. If the other party's background is not ordinary and is even stronger than the Meng clan, it will bring disaster to the Meng clan. A true powerhouse wants to avenge his descendant. As long as there's suspicion, there's no need for evidence. Tan Xueqi voiced his concerns. Uncle Tan, if you're willing to make a move, I have a treasure here that you'll definitely be interested in. I can give it to you. Meng Yuzheng raised his hand, and an item flashed in his hand. As soon as it appeared, it was put away into the self-destructed spatial ring. He was not afraid of Tan Xueqi forcefully snatching it away. This is... Tan Xueqing's pupils contracted rapidly at this moment. Even his breathing became extremely hurried. His chest rose and fell continuously like a bellows. Where did you get this thing from? At this moment, Tan Xueqing's eyes were slightly red. Chapter 44-29. Tan Xueqing had never imagined that Meng Yuzheng would be able to take out something like this. This was the godhead of a supreme master. Moreover, it was a fire-type ultimate divinity. He was originally skilled in fire-type laws of nature, And now his attainments in fire-type laws were extremely deep, having reached the minor perfection stage. Moreover, because his fire-type laws of nature had mutated even more, it gave him a greater chance of reaching the great perfection stage. To him, the fire-type ultimate divinity was absolutely a treasure that surpassed everything else. At least, to him now, it surpassed everything else. This was because once he had the fire-type ultimate divinity, his chances of reaching the great perfection stage in fire-type laws of nature would increase infinitely. He would have more than a 70% chance of reaching the great perfection stage. Huff, huff, huff. Therefore, at this moment, Tan Xueqing's breathing was very rapid, and he could not calm down for a long time. Of course, after a while, Tan Xueqing's emotions gradually calmed down. At the same time, he looked at Meng Yuzhing and said in a low voice, "Just now, I didn't see clearly what that was. Can you let me see again?" Although he said that, there was a hidden greed in the depths of Tan Xueqing's eyes. For the fire-type ultimate divinity, even if he had to kill the person in front of him, offend the Meng family of Kanglan City, leave the Sky Sand Realm, and become a fugitive, it would be worth it. As long as he comprehended the great perfection fire-type laws of nature, he would become an invincible high-level supreme god. At that time, he could totally find an even more powerful ultimate god as his backer. Even if Meng Tianfeng of the Meng family of Kanglan City saw him again, he would not dare to attack him. Invincible high-level supreme gods were much fewer in number than ultimate gods in the Outer Realm and the 10,000 realms. Uncle Tan. Meng Yuzhing was no fool. He smiled faintly and said, "You're skilled in fire-type laws of nature, so I'm sure you're more sensitive to it than anyone else. If you're not sure, then I'll tell you personally. That's an ultimate divinity, and it's a fire-type ultimate divinity. As for the origin of this ultimate divinity, I'm sure you can guess without me telling you. My ancestor gave it to me." The reason the old ancestor was able to become a paramount powerhouse is largely due to the fire-type paramount powerhouse divinity he obtained 10,000 years ago. However, after he became a paramount powerhouse, the fire-type paramount powerhouse divinity was no longer of much use to him, so he gave it to me. Meng Tianfeng, the newly ascended omnipotent of the Meng family in Azure Water City, was also proficient in the laws of fire. Because I'm the most outstanding amongst his direct descendants, and I'm skilled in the laws of fire. Hearing Meng Yuzhing's words, Tan Xueqing raised an eyebrow. The Supreme Powerhouse's divinity that the Supreme Powerhouse gave you is not for you to casually give away. In the future, don't joke about this kind of thing anymore. If His Honor were to find out that you want to give that thing to someone else, I'm afraid that he would not be happy. Tan Xueqing suddenly calmed down. Since it was given to him by that supreme expert, how could this Meng Yuzhing give it to him so easily? Most of what he said just now was just a joke. Moreover, Huang Xiaolong believed that the other party was also aware of the value of a supreme expert's godhead. Uncle Tan. Meng Yuzhing smiled. Perhaps I misspoke when I said that I would give you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity. What I'm thinking is that if you can help me get rid of that brat who's going to marry Wang Luoyu in half a month, I'll lend you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity so that you can use it to comprehend and become a Supreme Powerhouse or an invincible higher Supreme God. At that time, you can return it to me. Meng Yuzhing's expression turned serious as he said this. Of course, if you agree, Uncle Tan, you'll have to make a heavenly blood oath and promise that you'll return the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity to me after you become a Supreme Powerhouse or an invincible higher Supreme God. Otherwise, even if you kill that Li Feng, I won't lend you the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity. The heavenly blood oath was a kind of oath in the outer realm. Once it was fulfilled, one would be restricted by the laws of heaven and earth. Once the oath was broken, even if one fled the outer realm and hid in the land of the infinite worlds, it would be difficult to escape death. In the land of the infinite worlds, unless one was a supreme powerhouse, it was difficult to make a heavenly blood oath with blood. Therefore, the heavenly blood oath was rarely mentioned in the land of the infinite worlds. Moreover, in the land of the infinite worlds, it was usually the supreme powerhouses who maintained the order. For example, in the God-reversing realm, there were supreme powerhouses who maintained the oath. At the same time, Tan Xueqing, who heard Meng Yuzhing's words, frowned slightly at first, but after a while, he relaxed. I can promise you this. As for whether Meng Yuzhing would go back on his word after the matter was done, he was not worried because even if Meng Yuzhing was protected by a supreme powerhouse, he would not dare to say that he would be followed and protected everywhere. There was no benefit in offending Tan Xueqing. Moreover, now that Tan Xueqing was under the command of the supreme powerhouse, Meng Tianfeng, he could be considered half a member of the Meng family. Meng Yuzheng would not tease him about this matter. "Thank you, Uncle Tan." Meng Yuzheng smiled brightly. He did not expect Tan Xiuting to reject him because he knew how tempting the Supreme Powerhouse's divinity was to him. Tan Xiuting was also a well-known figure in the Sky Sand realm. People called him the Azure Flame Saber Monarch, and he was famous for being arrogant and unruly. If not for the fact that the Supreme Powerhouse ancestor of the Meng family was also proficient in the Law of Fire, someone as arrogant and unruly as him might not have been willing to become a subordinate. In the past, there had been Supreme Powerhouses born in the Sky Sand realm, but no one had heard of him doing anything. Obviously, he was not very willing to become a subordinate of an Supreme Powerhouse. Moreover, he had heard from the Meng family's ancestor that Tan Xiuting had become his subordinate because he wanted to consult him about the Law of Fire. At this moment, Duan Lingtian still did not know that he had been targeted by Meng Yuzheng of the Meng family of Kanglan City, whom he had refused to meet. Furthermore, he was going to hire someone to kill him. Of course, even if he knew, he would not care. It would be good enough if someone who was not even as strong as the two supreme elders of the Wang family could escape from him. Duan Lingtian silently waited for the arrival of the wedding day that would be half a month later. At that time, he would be able to leave with Wang Luoyu. As long as he settled Wang Luoyu down, he would be able to get back on track and continue on his own path. After that, the favor of the deceased Wang Yiyuan giving him the treasure would be written off. They would not owe each other anything. Half a month's time passed in the blink of an eye. The day of the Wang family's daughter's wedding came soon after. In fact, a few days before this, Lan Xiaocheng was already bustling with activity. The guests that the Wang family had invited from various places came to Lan Xiaocheng in an endless stream and stayed in the inn that the Wang family had arranged for them. The patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, respectfully brought a sage-like old man back to the Wang family on the day before the wedding of Duan Lingtian's alias Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. Moreover, the supreme elder of the Wang family, Wang Jingrao, whom Duan Lingtian had fought before, immediately came to the door and respectfully kowtowed to the old man. End of chapter. Chapter 44-30. Your little Jingjing? The old man with the air of a transcendent being asked in surprise as he looked at the old man who was also over 60 years old kneeling on the ground. "It's me, Senior Situ." Wang Jingrao replied respectfully as he knelt on the ground. "I didn't expect you to remember me, Senior Situ." Back then when he was young, he was fortunate enough to meet this person in front of him. At that time, this person was not an ultimate powerhouse yet. He was a powerhouse who had joined the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch and was also one of the external consecrators of the Wang clan. At that time, due to his outstanding talent, the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse did not treat him as a servant. Instead, he treated him as a disciple and gave him pointers with great care. Because of this person had always been grateful to the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch. Later on, this person successfully became an omnipotent expert and left the Wang clan. However, from then on, he became good friends with the Wang clan's omnipotent expert ancestor. Both in public and in private, he would respectfully address the Wang clan's omnipotent expert ancestor as teacher. Now, the reason the Wang clan lost their ultimate powerhouse and their former status was mainly due to this person in front of him. "Of course I remember." The old man smiled slightly. "I still remember the first time I met you. You were being bullied by a Wang clan disciple who was a few years older than you. At that time, you were crying and yelling that you, little Jingjing, would get back at him within 3 years. That was the first time I came to the Wang clan. At that time when I heard what you said, I had an impression of you. A few years later, I even specially asked the Wang clan's elder who received me. I didn't expect you to surpass that Wang clan disciple in just 2 years." The old man spoke casually, but Wang Jingrao, who was kneeling on the ground, was excited when he heard this. He did not expect the old man to still remember him. After all, this was his first time meeting the old man after so many years. In the past, although he knew of the old man's existence, he always happened to have something to do or was in closed-door cultivation. Therefore, the person who took the initiative to meet the old man was his elder brother, the other Wang clan's grand elder. "Good luck." The old man still had a smile on his face. "Now that you've come this far, it won't be difficult for you to advance further. I'll be in the Wang clan for the next few days. If you have any questions about cultivation, you can look for me any time." "Thank you, Senior Situ." Hearing this, Wang Jingrao immediately became excited. The person in front of him had stepped into the omnipotent realm many years ago. Although he was not far from the omnipotent realm, there was still a large gap between them. If you can become a supreme expert, even if Teacher's spirit in heaven knows that the Wang clan has produced a second supreme expert, he will be gratified, the old man said with a smile. At the same time, there was a hint of sadness in the depths of his eyes. However, neither Wang Jingrao nor the head of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, noticed it. He was worried that he wouldn't be able to protect the Wang clan for much longer. Once he died, the Wang family's status in the Blue Dawn City, and even the Heavenly Sand territory, would plummet. Although there were still a few other supreme experts in the Wang family who were in contact with him, he knew very well that without his supervision, the other supreme experts would no longer care about the Wang family. They would no longer leave behind the last piece of cloth to cover their shame. After all, the one who had helped those people in the past was only the ancestor of the Wang family who was an ultimate expert, and not anyone in the current generation of the Wang family. His existence more or less caused those people to have some scruples about their own reputation. They were afraid that if they ignored the Wang family, he would tell others about how ungrateful those people were. Once he died, those people would no longer have any scruples. Therefore, he hoped from the bottom of his heart that the Wang family could produce a second supreme expert, and Wang Jingrao was also one of the two most promising people in the current generation of the Wang family. While Wang Jingrao and the old man were conversing, the head of the Wang family felt a little guilty. Little Jingjing? This was the first time he had heard the pet name of his Grand Supreme Elder. He thought to himself, I didn't expect this ancestor to have such a cute and feminine pet name in the past. If the descendants of the Wang family who worshipped this ancestor of the Wang family found out, their worldview would probably be completely destroyed. While Wang Kuei was still letting his imagination run wild, Wang Jingrao and the old man had finished catching up. At the same time, she woke Wang Kuei up. Family head, Senior Situ has come from afar. Let's send him to my place to rest. Originally, the Wang clan had a guest courtyard that was used to entertain supreme powerhouses. However, since it had been given to Duanling Tian who had changed his name to Li Feng, Wang Jingrao immediately arranged for a distinguished supreme powerhouse guest to stay in his courtyard. Moreover, this way, it would be much more convenient for him to seek guidance from the other party regarding cultivation. Wang Kuei came back to his senses and led the way for the old man with Wang Jingrao. On the way, Wang Jingrao's voice transmission sounded in Wang Kuei's ears. Wang Kuei, just now. Did you hear what Senior Situ called me? Hearing this, Wang Kuei was startled at first, then as if he had just woken up from a dream. This was a warning to him. As the family head, Wang Kuei naturally had a high EQ. After being stunned for a moment, he came back to his senses and hurriedly replied through voice transmission. Grand Elder, I was just thinking about the wedding between Wang Luoyu and brother Li Feng tomorrow. I was wondering if there were some things that could be arranged more appropriately. Did Senior Situ call you anything just now? Wang Kuei had a blank expression on his face as though he really did not know anything. Nothing. Wang Jingrao nodded his head in satisfaction. However, his gaze was still filled with deep meaning. This time, it's been hard on you to personally bring Senior Situ over. Later on, after you send Senior Situ to my place, you can rest for a while and wait for the arrival of brother Li Feng and Luo Yu's wedding day tomorrow. Yes. Grand Elder. Wang Kuei hurriedly replied again, but his back was already drenched in cold sweat. He wondered if this Grand Elder would kill him to silence him if he did not know what was good for him. That should not be the case. However, it would not be so easy for him to get away with it. At this moment, Duanling Tian did not know that because Meng Yujing from the Meng clan of Conglan City had come to the Wang clan to cause a ruckus and said that the new supreme powerhouse from the Meng clan would back him up, the Wang clan had specially invited a supreme powerhouse to oversee the wedding of Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. In fact, he did not take Meng Yujing seriously at all. As for the new supreme powerhouse from the Meng clan of Conglan City, he also felt that there was a high probability that he would not appear at the wedding tomorrow. Even if he did appear, he was certain that the other party would not dare to make a move on him. After all, he had a mysterious origin and was not even 10,000 years old, but he already possessed such shocking strength. If it was any ordinary person, they would not think that he did not have any background. What a joke! How could someone who did not have any background or resources have such achievements at such a young age? Once the new supreme powerhouse from the Meng clan had any doubts or fears, as long as he was given time, he would have already fled with Wang Luoyu. At that time, even if the other party reacted, it would be too late. After tomorrow, the plan this time is more or less complete. After settling Wang Luoyu down, I'll have fulfilled my promise to Wang Yiyuan. After that, I can continue on my own path. I only hope that Meng Yujing from the Meng clan knows what's good for him. If he continues to pester me for no reason and goes too far, I don't mind consigning him to eternal damnation before I leave. Although he had never met Meng Yujing, the Meng clan's disciple who had come with ill intentions, he could tell that Meng Yujing was difficult to deal with from the words of Wang Kuei, the Wang clan leader. Tomorrow was the day of the wedding. It would be fine if Meng Yujing behaved himself, but if he did not, he would not mind teaching him a lesson. An invincible high-level supreme god. In the blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian collected his thoughts and thought about his next goal. The current me is still some distance away from being an invincible high-level supreme god. Although the temporal and spatial laws are close to the perfection realm, I have not officially stepped into that realm. If both of them step into the perfection realm, my true combat strength should be comparable to some of the invincible high-level supreme gods who did not rely on the perfection realm's nomological profundity. When he thought of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes suddenly lit up. Not all invincible higher-level supreme gods had mastered a single law to the perfection realm. Among the invincible high-level supreme gods, the most powerful ones were those who had mastered a particular law to the perfection realm. Even if they did not rely on the four Tao of heaven and earth, their strength was still extremely shocking. Even those who had mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth, such as the sword principle that he had mastered, were far from being a match for them with the perfection realm's nomological profundity. Even he felt that even if he had comprehended the temporal and spatial laws to the perfection realm, he would not be a match for those invincible high-level supreme gods with the sword principle that he had mastered. Those invincible high-level supreme gods were the top existences among the invincible high-level supreme gods. When they mastered the laws to the extreme, quantitative changes would lead to qualitative changes. Their strength was extremely terrifying. It said that the four Tao of heaven and earth can also be perfected. However, there has never been anyone who has mastered any of the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm in the outer realm or even in the history of the 10,000 worlds. Some people say that if someone has mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth to the extreme, even if their nomological profundity has only reached the perfection realm, their strength may not be inferior to those who have mastered the laws to the perfection realm. If one has mastered the laws to the perfection realm and mastered the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm, one's strength may reach the level of invincibility below the ultimate experts. One may even be able to fight against an ordinary ultimate expert. Of course, what Duan Lingtian said to himself at the end was just speculation that he had read in some ancient books. The real situation was not necessarily so. Moreover, an ordinary person can become an ultimate expert without mastering the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm. How many people can give up the opportunity to become an ultimate expert and continue to study the four Tao of heaven and earth to the perfection realm with the cultivation of a high-level supreme god? Even if everyone knows that studying the four Tao of heaven and earth will become more difficult after becoming an ultimate expert. Chapter 44-31. Duan Lingtian still had a long way to go before he could become an ultimate expert. However, from another point of view, it was almost inevitable that he would become an ultimate expert. Putting aside the fact that he had mastered an extraordinary sword Tao, which was enough for him to become an omnipotent expert, even the 5 divine elements in his body would be able to push him forward and become an omnipotent expert as long as he could improve further. Many higher ultimate gods sought the opportunity to become an ultimate expert, but it seemed to be worthless to Duan Lingtian. However, the current Duan Lingtian did not have much desire to become an ultimate expert. What he desired most now was to become an invincible higher godly venerable. The number of invincible higher ultimate gods in the outer realm and even the land of the 10,000 realms was far less than an ultimate expert. It was even said that the number of invincible higher ultimate gods was less than 1/10 of the number of ultimate experts. What did this mean? Under such a concept, one could see how precious invincible higher ultimate gods were. In the outer realm and even the land of the 10,000 realms, there's a saying, if you're confident of becoming an invincible higher ultimate god, it's best not to rush to become an ultimate expert. This is because once you become an ultimate expert, whether it's the four Tao of heaven and earth or the law profundity, it'll be a world of difference compared to before you break through. The ideal situation is to reach the perfection stage in the law profundity and the four Tao of heaven and earth before seeking a breakthrough. However, in the history of the outer realm and even the land of the 10,000 realms, such an existence has never appeared. There's a legend that if such an existence appears in the land of the 10,000 realms, he'll have the strength of a universe master as soon as he breaks through to the ultimate expert realm. The Universe Master Realm is the name of the ultimate expert realm. In the land of the 10,000 realms, There are only a few dozen people who can reach this level. If a person has the strength of a universe master as soon as he breaks through to become an ultimate expert, what does that mean? Just thinking about it made Duan Lingtian's scalp tingle. After coming to the outer realm, as he gained a deeper understanding of the outer realm, he also gained a deeper understanding of the outer realm. He learned a lot of things about the outer realm. This included the fact that once one became an ultimate expert, it was extremely difficult to increase one's strength. Among the ultimate experts, there were different levels. The ultimate experts of the Universe Master Realm were the top existences among the ultimate experts. It is said that, in the vast myriad worlds, only the 3 most powerful realms and the 18 realms below them have such existences. It is because of this that the 21 realms are able to dominate the myriad worlds and even make the other realms willingly submit to them and even offer up the realm power of their realms. At the same time, Duan Lingtian thought of something else. Universe Masters are so powerful. If they are willing to help, they should be able to forcibly remove the soul imprisonment in Ker's body, right? If they can. When I become an invincible higher ultimate god, I just have to choose to work under a Universe Master and let that expert help me. Ker will be able to successfully free herself from the soul imprisonment. At this thought, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up again. At the same time, his desire to become an invincible higher ultimate god became even more resolute. He could not wait to cultivate and comprehend the precepts. Of course, after a moment of restlessness, he quickly calmed down. Now, I should first deal with the matter that Wang Yiyuan asked me to do. After settling Wang Luoyu down, I will continue to wander in the outer realm and continue on my path of becoming stronger. After calming down, Duan Lingtian closed his eyes and rested, waiting for the next day to come. Currently, there were still scattered sounds outside the room and in the courtyard. Those were the people that the Wang family had arranged for to decorate his new room. As for the inside of the room, when the wedding ceremony began the next day, there would naturally be people who would decorate it. Now, no one would disturb Duan Lingtian's peace and quiet. This was also specially instructed by Wang Kue, the Wang family head. The night passed in the blink of an eye amidst many people's anticipation. Duan Lingtian also walked out of his room early in the morning. Under the Wang family's arrangements, he successfully changed into a festive red ceremonial robe. His long hair was also tidied up, making his already extraordinarily handsome face appear even more heroic and awe-inspiring. Young Master Li Feng, I will now bring you through the process of the Wang family's wedding ceremony. If there's anything you don't understand, you can tell me. A middle-aged woman walked beside Duan Lingtian and said with a smile, "Actually, the wedding ceremony may seem complicated, but you just need to go through the motions. Of course, there are still some distinguished guests that we would like to invite you and Miss Luoyu to greet and entertain." The middle-aged woman's words allowed Duan Lingtian to see the importance that the Wang family placed on this wedding. Of course, he did not object to this. To him, all of this was just a formality. Perhaps after today, he would have to leave the Wang family, and Wang Luoyu would disappear forever before the Wang family's eyes. In the future, he might still have some interactions with the Wang family, but that would be because he was indebted to the Wang family's grand elder, Wang Jingrao, and had to repay the Wang family to the best of his ability. Chapter 44-32. To the people of the Wang family, that son-in-law by the name of Li Feng was very mysterious. It was said that he had taken the initiative to approach them. Some people even said that despite his young age, he was already as powerful as the Wang family's grand elder. When he first arrived at the Wang family's grand elder was already at a disadvantage. It was said that one of the patrolling disciples who had been present at the time spread the news. However, when someone asked the patrolling disciples who had been present that day to confirm it, none of them confirmed it. It was as if they had been given a gag order. This made most of the members of the Wang family even more curious about the identity of this son-in-law. If the rumors were true, then this son-in-law was not even 10,000 years old, but he was already as powerful as the Wang family's grand elder. Such a person would be a first-rate genius even in the entire Tiansha realm. If he really is such a monstrous person, coupled with his possible background, even if he comes from outside the Tiansha realm, he is indeed worthy of our Wang family's attention. The clan definitely won't act rashly. Between this new son-in-law and the Meng clan of Azure Water City, the clan chose the new son-in-law. This shows that the new son-in-law is far more important than the Meng clan of Azure Water City. There were still many rational people in the Wang family. Through this incident, It was not difficult to guess the importance of this son-in-law in the eyes of the upper echelons of the Wang family. This time, all the reputable forces within the Tiansha realm had received invitations from the Wang family, including a group of powerful forces with supreme powerhouses. Although the Wang family did not have any supreme experts, the forces with supreme experts who had received invitations still sent people over. Even the supreme experts who stood at the top of the pyramid in the Tiansha realm did not fear the Wang family when they had supreme experts. This time they also sent people over. However, the people they sent were not the core members of their respective forces. Even so, they still gave the Wang family enough face. After all, the Wang family did not have any supreme experts now. This time, the Wang family was able to be so busy mainly because of the supreme expert ancestor of the Wang family. The glory he had left behind had allowed the Wang family to flourish until now. Many people felt that if the Wang clan wanted to completely decline, they would have to sever all ties with the supreme experts of the Wang clan. Or before that happened, the Wang clan had yet to produce a supreme expert. Otherwise, even if the Wang family did not have a supreme expert, there would not be many people or forces within the Tiansha region who would underestimate him. How troublesome! Although the woman in charge of arranging things for him said that everything should be simple, even this simple wedding ceremony still made Duan Lingtian feel that it was cumbersome and troublesome. Fortunately, the Wang clan had sent people to do most of the work, so Duan Lingtian saved a lot of effort. What he wanted to do was to be a vase. He would stand there and follow Wang Kuei, the head of the Wang family, to receive the guests from all the powerful forces in the Sky Sand realm. Wang family head. Congratulations! Wang family head, your Wang family's son-in-law this time is clearly not an ordinary person. Duan Lingtian didn't know the people who came at the beginning, so he just greeted them with Wang Kuei. However, when a loud voice sounded from behind him, it woke him up from his reverie. Ta Yu from the Qiming Mountain and his descendant, Ta Meng Sha, congratulate the Wang family on behalf of the Qiming Mountain. A loud voice resonated in the air as a middle-aged burly man walked in with a young burly man in tow. When both of them saw Duan Lingtian, it was obvious that they were momentarily stunned. The young burly man behind them stared at Duan Lingtian with wide eyes. Qiming Mountain. At this moment, Duan Lingtian was shocked by the two people in front of him who came from the Qiming Mountain. When he heard the voice mention the name, Ta Meng Sha, he only felt that it sounded familiar. He didn't think much of it. However, when the young burly man stared at him with his sharp eyes and unruly gaze, Duan Lingtian could not help but recall the scenes that happened in Dancing Sun City. At that time, he had defeated a giant ape, but he did not take its life. That giant ape. It seemed to be called Ta Meng Sha. It's him. At the same time, Duan Lingtian also confirmed the identity of the middle-aged burly man in front of Ta Meng Sha. He was one of the three great demons who followed the demon master from Qiming Mountain to flatten Dancing Sun City. Qiming Mountain was one of the demon master's three great right-hand men. When he was still in Dancing Sun City, he only knew that Qiming Mountain was very strong, but he didn't know how strong Qiming Mountain was. It was not until later that he found out that any of the three great demons under Qiming Mountain's Qiming Demon Venerable had the strength of an invincible high-level ultimate god. Greetings, Senior Ta Yu. Wang Kuei, the Wang clan leader, said respectfully. This confirmed Duan Lingtian that Ta Yu's strength was close to that of an invincible high-level ultimate god. Until now, there were only a few guests who could make Wang Kuei so respectful. This showed how important Ta Yu was in Wang Kuei's heart. Haha. Clan leader Wang. Congratulations. Our demon master is busy and can't leave, so he ordered me to participate in this grand wedding of yours. I hope the Wang clan won't take offense. Ta Yu laughed. His laughter was as loud as thunder, attracting the attention of many guests who were walking in front of him. However, when these people saw Ta Yu's face clearly, fear appeared in their eyes one after another. Qiming Mountain. Ta Yu. This was a powerful great demon with a bad temper. Anyone who had provoked him in the past would not have a good ending. Senior Ta Yu, you must be joking. Your presence brings light to the Wang clan's humble dwelling. Wang Kuei grinned warmly and introduced Duan Lingtian to Ta Yu. Senior Ta Yu, this is one of the main characters of our Wang clan today, Li Feng. Brother Li Feng, say hello to Senior Ta Yu. Wang Kuei said. At this moment, Ta Yu's eyes fell on Duan Lingtian, giving Duan Lingtian a slight pressure. However, it was only a slight pressure. Duan Lingtian looked at Ta Yu and smiled. Li Feng greets Senior Ta Yu. It's been a long time since we last met. Senior Ta Yu is still as elegant as ever. Wang Kuei was stunned when he heard Duan Ling Tian's words. Ta Yu took a deep look at Duan Ling Tian and said, "During the Battle of Dancing Sun City, I knew that you were not an ordinary person. It's a pity that you left early, so I didn't have time to thank you for sparing Ta Meng Sha's life." As he finished speaking, he turned his head and looked at the young man behind him. "Ta Meng Sha, why don't you thank Brother Li Feng for sparing your life that day?" Hearing Ta Yu's words, everyone was shocked. Wang Kuei's expression changed greatly. Chapter 44-33. Not killing him? Who could not understand the meaning behind this? That was because Li Feng was able to kill Ta Meng Sha, but he didn't kill him. However, even though it sounded like a huge favor, Wang Kuei's expression changed when he heard this. It was as if he had guessed what was going to happen next. Even those who had come to watch the show were watching the development of the situation with great interest. Ta Yu from the Qi Ming Mountain actually asked his adopted son, Ta Meng Sha, to thank the son-in-law of the Wang clan for sparing his life. This person almost killed Ta Meng Sha? He is not even 10,000 years old and yet he is so powerful. Amazing. I just don't know if Ta Yu will stand up for his adopted son. I don't think so. Didn't you hear what Ta Yu said? He even thanked the other party for sparing his adopted son's life? Isn't that sarcastic? Although we can't see Ta Yu's anger now, who can be sure that this is not the calm before the storm? Other than the Wang clan members who were on high alert, the rest of the people were just watching the show. After all, this had nothing to do with them. It was a matter between the son-in-law of the Wang clan and the Qi Ming Mountain. Li Feng, thank you for sparing my life. Ta Meng Sha frowned. In the end, he stepped forward and thanked Duan Ling Tian under the gaze of his adopted father. However, his frown did not ease for a long time. "One day, I will defeat you," Ta Meng Sha said proudly. Duan Ling Tian smiled faintly when he heard that. "I look forward to that day." Defeat him? Did Ta Meng Sha think that he had used all his strength in the past? Right now, even if Ta Yu personally attacked him, he would still be able to escape unscathed, let alone Ta Meng Sha. If he was given more time to improve his strength, he would not be afraid of Ta Yu. He might even be able to defeat him. Wang clan leader. At this time, Ta Yu looked at Wang Kuei again and said with a sigh, "I really didn't expect that the son-in-law of the Wang family is this little brother. Let me congratulate the Wang family in advance for having such a powerful son-in-law." The aptitude of a supreme expert. Ta Yu's words caused an uproar among the crowd. They didn't expect Ta Yu to have such a high opinion of the Wang family's son-in-law. Of course, most people felt that Ta Yu was just being polite. "Thank you for your praise, Senior Ta Yu." Wang Kuei thanked Ta Yu on behalf of Duan Ling Tian. Ta Yu continued, "I'm not praising him. This is what the Demon Venerable said to us personally. He said that this little brother has the potential to become an omnipotent expert." After Ta Yu's explanation, the entire place was in an uproar. No one had expected that the Qi Ming Monster Venerable of the Qi Ming Mountain, a powerful omnipotent expert, would praise a young man who was not even 10,000 years old. For a moment, everyone looked at Duan Ling Tian in a different light. After all, this was someone who was acknowledged by even the most powerful beings. Perhaps in the future, the second most powerful person in the Wang clan would be him. At this time, Duan Ling Tian just smiled faintly and looked at Ta Yu, saying, "Senior Ta Yu, please send my regards to Lord Demon Venerable. In the past, I left in a hurry because I had something urgent to attend to, so I didn't pay my respects to Lord Demon Venerable. I hope he can forgive me." At this time, Duan Ling Tian was so scared that he broke out in cold sweat. He didn't expect that he would be targeted by the Qi Ming Monster Venerable of the Qi Ming Mountain in the Dancing Sun City. He didn't know if the Qi Ming Monster Venerable didn't have the time to deal with him, or if he didn't want to bother with him. "Okay," Ta Yu responded and then led Ta Meng Sha inside. As he walked, he looked back at Duan Ling Tian and said with a friendly smile, "Little brother Li Feng, if you have time in the future, you can come find me at the Qi Ming Mountain any time. I'm sure Lord Demon Venerable would like to meet little brother Li Feng." At this time, Ta Yu was much more polite. The reason for his politeness was because before he came, he had heard that the Wang clan did not even give face to the new supreme powerhouse of the Meng clan in the Azure Water City because of Li Feng. It was obvious the Wang clan's son-in-law's background was not simple. It was only when he saw the Wang clan's son-in-law that he realized he had seen him before. He had even spared his foster son, Ta Meng Sha, when the Qiming Mountain destroyed the Dancing Sun City. It was precisely because he knew the other party was outstanding, and he guessed the other party had an extraordinary background, that Ta Yu's attitude toward Duan Lingtian was much better. Of course. Duan Lingtian responded with a smile. He only returned to his senses after Ta Yu and Ta Meng Sha's silhouettes disappeared from his sight. He continued to welcome the guests with Wang Kuei. Soon after, Wang Kuei frowned slightly. This was because the two people walking over were the people from the Meng clan in the Azure Water City, Meng Yujing, and the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xiuting. Humph! Meng Yujing brought Tan Xiuting forward and stopped in front of Wang Kuei. He did not look at Wang Kuei but looked at Duan Lingtian instead. His eyes were filled with coldness and unwillingness. Clan leader Wang. Is this the husband your Wang clan chose for Wang Luoyu? Meng Yujing asked as he glanced at Wang Kuei indifferently. Wang Kuei looked deeply at Meng Yujing and said indifferently, "Young Master Meng, if you're here as a guest, the Wang clan welcomes you. However, if you're here to cause trouble, please leave the Wang clan." Wang Kuei's tone was extremely domineering. Clan leader Wang. Tan Xiuting, who was standing behind Meng Yujing, spoke while Meng Yujing was frowning. Young Master Meng Yujing came here on behalf of the Honorable One. You want him to leave the Wang clan because the Wang clan doesn't welcome the Honorable One? Tan Xiuting mentioned the new supreme powerhouse behind the Meng clan as soon as he spoke. In just a blink of an eye, the atmosphere became tense. When Wang Kuei heard Tan Xiuting's words, he did not rush to explain. Instead, he smiled faintly. I, Wang Kuei, believe that if Senior Meng Tianfeng came here personally, he would definitely not be as aggressive as young Master Meng. I, Wang Kuei, and even the Wang clan, respect Senior Meng Tianfeng very much. After all, he was the clan leader of the Wang clan. He knew how to be polite. Humph. Let's go. Seeing that Wang Kuei was not easy to deal with, Meng Yujing snorted coldly and led Tan Xiuting inside. It was obvious that he had made up his mind to attend the wedding of Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng, and Wang Luoyu. Brother Li Feng. Wang Kuei comforted Duan Lingtian. That Meng Yujing is a good-for-nothing. Don't hold it against him. If the Meng clan didn't have a supreme powerhouse, they wouldn't dare to be so presumptuous. He's just a clown. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. He did not seem to care at all. Why are you here? Right at this moment, an exclamation of disbelief and disbelief sounded from afar. There was a young woman with a delicate and pretty appearance there. She was holding the hand of a middle-aged man, and there was an old woman following behind them. Regardless of whether it was the young woman or the old woman, Duan Lingtian was no stranger to them. Chapter 44-34. The newcomers were Yi Changwei and the old woman who had been by her side in the past. At this moment, the old woman was still behind Yi Changwei. Beside Yi Changwei was a middle-aged man with a dignified face who bore some resemblance to Yi Changwei. The moment Duan Lingtian saw the three of them, it was not difficult for him to guess the identity of the middle-aged man beside Yi Changwei. He was most likely Yi Changwei's father, one of the candidates to inherit the position of patriarch of the Ye family. Although he had only met Wang Luoyu a few times, he had heard some things about Yi Changwei from Wang Luoyu. He knew that Yi Changwei was here for her and had the intention to help her get rid of the marriage alliance with the Wang family. It was precisely because of this that Duan Lingtian had a slightly better impression of Yi Changwei. For this reason, Duan Lingtian only regained his senses after a brief moment of shock when he saw Yi Changwei. At the same time, he did not intend to explain to Yi Changwei why he had introduced himself as Duan Lingtian. He believed that from Yi Changwei's perspective, she would most likely think that Duan Lingtian was his alias. Why is it him? At this moment, Yi Changwei was completely dumbfounded. She did not expect that the young man named Li Feng, whom her sister Wang Luoyu was going to marry, was actually the young man who called himself Duan Lingtian that she had a good impression of. He actually gave me a fake name? At this moment, Yi Changwei could not help but feel disappointed and disappointed. At the same time, she could not help but feel envious of her sister Wang Luoyu. This was because she had a good impression of the person in front of her as well. This was also the first time in her life that she had a good impression of a man of the same age. At the same time, she could tell that he was a good person. I didn't expect. He's Li Feng. Yi Changwei's gaze was extremely complicated. The old woman behind Yi Chengwei was obviously stunned when she saw Duan Lingtian. When she regained her senses, her gaze was also extremely complicated. At the same time, she carefully looked at the back of her miss in front of her. She could clearly see her miss's delicate body trembling slightly. What's wrong? At this moment, the middle-aged man standing beside Yi Chengwei also felt his daughter's body trembling. He couldn't help but ask with concern, "Are you feeling unwell?" "Father, I'm fine." Yi Chengwei regained her senses and shook her head. "It's just that when I think of Sister Luo Yu getting married, I suddenly feel a little disappointed." "Silly girl." The middle-aged man shook his head and smiled. "She's married, but she's still your sister. That won't change. Even if she leaves the Sky Sand realm with her husband in the future, will she never come back? Even if she doesn't come back, can't you go look for her?" The middle-aged man, who was Yi Chengwei's father, comforted her. "Let's go and meet Luoyu's husband. From what you said, he's a man that both Luoyu and the Wang family have chosen. He's definitely not an ordinary person." As the middle-aged man spoke, he led Yi Chengwei up to Wang Kuei and Duan Lingtian. "Elder Yi Cheng." After the middle-aged man beside Yi Chengwei took the initiative to greet him, Wang Kuei also smiled and greeted him. "Your daughter and Luoyu are close friends. Since Luoyu is getting married this time, you're also considered her elder. You should drink a few more cups." "Of course." Yi Cheng laughed heartily. At the same time, his gaze fell on Duan Lingtian. "Elder Yi Cheng." Duan Lingtian nodded at Yi Cheng and then looked at Yi Chengwei, who was beside Yi Cheng. "Miss Yi, we meet again." Originally, Yi Chengwei didn't even look at Duan Lingtian because she was worried that her heart would be even more shaken. Now that she heard Duan Lingtian take the initiative to greet her, she raised her head and looked at Duan Lingtian with a complicated gaze. "Yes, we meet again. I just didn't expect you to be the big brother Li Feng that Luoyu mentioned." "Wait, you're acquainted with this brother Li Feng?" Yi Cheng was slightly surprised. On the other hand, the Wang clan leader Wang Kuei was slightly surprised as well. "Miss Yi is acquainted with brother Li Feng?" If Yi Chengwei was acquainted with their Wang clan son-in-law, Li Feng, because of Wang Luoyu, he wouldn't be surprised. However, now it seemed like she wasn't acquainted with Li Feng because of Wang Luoyu. "Father." At this moment, Yi Chengwei looked at Yi Cheng, who was beside her, and said in a slightly lowered voice, "Big brother Li Feng is the young genius who saved my mother-in-law and me on the way here that day." This sentence caused Yi Cheng to turn pale with fright. Previously, he had heard from his daughter how powerful the person who saved her was. He was definitely not weaker than Yi Cheng. At that time, his daughter had also said that the person should be less than 10,000 years old. To have such strength before the age of 10,000 was truly shocking. Before he came, he was already filled with curiosity about the young genius. However, he didn't expect to see him here and under such circumstances. At this moment, he finally understood why the Wang clan was willing to take the risk of offending the Meng clan of Kanglan City, and still insisted on betrothing Wang Luoyu to this person before him. It turned out that the person before him was such a heaven-defying existence. Based on how heaven-defying the other party was, his background must be extraordinary as well. The Wang clan has really found a treasure this time. Yi Cheng sighed in his heart. At the same time, he subconsciously glanced at his daughter, Yi Chengwei, who was beside him. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If Wei can find such a husband, even if I'm no longer around in the future, I won't have to worry about her future. Although Yi Chengwei deliberately lowered her voice, he still heard her words. For a moment, her eyes narrowed slightly. When she looked at Yi Cheng again, she saw the shock in his eyes. It seems like brother Li Feng's strength won't be able to be concealed for long. Wang Kuei thought to himself. At this moment, Yi Cheng, who had regained his senses, looked at Wang Kuei and smiled. "Patriarch Wang, congratulations to the Wang clan for obtaining a son-in-law." "Thank you, Elder Yi Cheng." Wang Kuei smiled and thanked him. "Elder Yi Cheng, please come in. The ceremony will begin soon. Please go in and take your seat." "All right." Yi Cheng responded and led Yi Chengwei and the old woman away. Before he left, he specially bid farewell to Duan Lingtian. "Brother Li Feng, we'll go in first. See you later." "Take care, Elder Yi Cheng." Duan Lingtian smiled and nodded as he watched the three members of the Ye clan leave. After that, Duan Lingtian followed the Wang clan patriarch Wang Kuei to receive more than 10 guests from afar. When it was almost time, they left to prepare for the ceremony. From the beginning to the end, Duan Lingtian did not suggest to the Wang clan to simplify the wedding ceremony as much as possible. Even though he knew that the Wang clan would respect his opinion, he did not want to alarm them. Now, only the last step of the plan was left to succeed. At this time, he did not want to complicate matters. Today's wedding ceremony is over. In 2 days, I can find an excuse to leave. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. Chapter 44-35. After Yi Qiangwei entered the arena with her father, she temporarily left him. According to her, today was the day her good sister, Wang Luoyu, got married. As her elder sister, she had to accompany Wang Luoyu. Yi Cheng did not think there was anything wrong with this. It was to the extent that when he realized Wang Luoyu's husband, Li Feng, was a peerless monster, he wished his daughter would have a closer relationship with Wang Luoyu. Therefore, he agreed to his daughter's request without the slightest hesitation. As for Yi Qiangwei, who was leaving Kargalik, that old woman was still following behind her like a shadow. Young Mississippi, perhaps Yi Cheng did not know his daughter's thoughts, but the old woman who was always by Yi Qiangwei's side could vaguely guess Yi Qiangwei's current feelings. Some people are just passers-by. Don't take it to heart. She knew that her young miss had a favorable impression of that young man, who called himself Duan Lingtian. Although her young miss didn't mention it, as someone who had experienced it before, it wasn't difficult for her to notice. Granny, why don't you think he told me his real name? Yi Qiangwei was slightly disappointed. So his name was Li Feng, not Duan Lingtian. Why did he lie to her? Was she not even worthy of a word of truth? Young miss, don't think too much. The old woman shook her head and said, since young Master Li Feng did not tell you his real name, it means he must have his own concerns. You should understand him. Moreover, he's going to become young Miss Luoyu's husband soon. From today onwards, there will be a lot of interactions between the two of you. The old woman continued. Of course, the old woman's words had a double meaning. She was clearly telling her young miss that Li Feng was already taken and hinting her young miss to stop thinking too much. She knew her young miss was arrogant. In the past, she had never beamed with joy in front of men of the same age. Only that young man, Li Feng, made her young miss unable to forget. Yes. Yi Qiangwei's delicate body trembled slightly. He's going to be Sister Luoyu's husband soon. Speaking of which, from today onwards, he's my brother-in-law. Granny, I'm fine. Now, let's go find Luoyu. Since her brother is no longer around, I will accompany her on behalf of her brother and watch her get married, Yi Qiangwei said. Hearing her young miss's words, the old woman secretly heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly responded. She could tell that her mistress had let it go. Even if it was only for a moment, as long as there was enough time, she believed that her young miss would be able to let it go completely. Sister Rose. Wang Luoyu, who was preparing at the back, was surrounded by a group of people. There were also 3 or 4 women who were in charge of adjusting her makeup. Although her makeup was not done yet, her appearance today was far better than her usual self. Even if the Duan Lingtian were here, looking at Wang Luoyu now, he might feel that she had some experience. Sister Luoyu, you're so beautiful. Even Yi Qiangwei, who was also a woman, couldn't help but smile when she saw Wang Luoyu. Big Sister Rose, since you came with Uncle Yi, then you should have already met Big Brother Li Feng, right? Wang Luoyu asked Yi Qiangwei with a smile as she cooperated with the women around her. She knew that her big sister Rose was full of curiosity towards her big brother Li Feng. It was a pity that Big Brother Li Feng didn't want to meet her. Now, she could finally get what she wanted. Yes, I met him. Yi Qiangwei nodded. Sister Luoyu, do you still remember that I told you that I was saved by a young expert on my way here? Wang Luoyu nodded with a face full of fear. Luckily, that big brother saved you. Otherwise, I really can't imagine what would have happened to you. Wang Luoyu still had a face full of fear when she thought about that incident. In fact, when Yi Qiangwei first arrived, she didn't mention it because she was afraid that Wang Luoyu would be worried. It was only until many days later that she brought it up in a casual conversation. Even so, Wang Luoyu was still shocked. Only then did she know that her big sister Rose was almost kidnapped by the people from the Blood Sea because of her. Fortunately, a young expert took action and saved her big sister Rose. Today I met him again. Yi Chongwei said. Wang Luoyu was stunned and then asked curiously, Big Sister Rose, was he invited to my wedding with Big Brother Li Feng? Did you greet him? This time, did he tell you his name? Wang Luoyu was very curious about this. That day, when her big sister Rose told her that the other party refused to talk to her too much and didn't even want to tell her his name, she was shocked. She couldn't imagine what kind of person would be so disdainful of a beauty like her big sister Rose. Could it be that he liked men and didn't like women? He wasn't invited to your wedding. Yi Chongwei looked at Wang Luoyu with a complicated gaze and sighed. He is your big brother Li Feng. This sentence made Wang Luoyu completely stunned. Big brother Li Feng? Elder brother Duan? Elder brother Duan was the one who saved big sister Rose? Wang Luoyu's gaze became complicated when she thought of this. It turned out that the young man who came all the way to Lanshao City's Wang family, just to fulfill his promise, had already met Sister Rose before meeting him. Furthermore, he had even saved Sister Rose. Big brother Li Feng. At this moment, Wang Luoyu took a few more glances at Yi Chongwei. It was not difficult to see the loneliness in her eyes. What a joke. I can't believe elder brother Duan is the one who saved big sister Rose. Moreover, it's obvious that big sister Rose has feelings for him. Wang Luoyu's heart trembled. At the same time, her eyes flashed. She almost wanted to tell Yi Chongwei the truth about Duan Lingtian saving her from the Wang clan. At the critical moment, she remembered her elder brother Duan's warning and recognized him as her master. I can't believe the person who saved big sister Rose is big brother Li Feng. I didn't hear big brother Li Feng mention this before. At this moment, Wang Luoyu felt a little guilty and embarrassed. In the end, it was Yi Chongwei who came back to her senses and changed the topic to break the slightly awkward atmosphere. At this time, she was also somewhat regretful that she had expressed some admiration for her life-saving grace in front of Wang Luoyu that day. Miss Luoyu, it's almost time. Let's get ready and go out. After Wang Luoyu's makeup was done and she chatted with Yi Chongwei for a while, someone rushed over and reminded Wang Luoyu. At this moment, the surrounding Wang clan members began to get busy again. Yi Chongwei followed Wang Luoyu because she had planned to be Wang Luoyu's maternal family member and sent her to that man's side. At the same time, Duan Lingtian was already waiting on the other side. According to the wedding customs of the Wang clan in Lanshao City, he and Wang Luoyu would enter from two different directions and gather on the high platform to face the guests seated below the high platform. After that, there would be a series of ceremonies. After the ceremony, the two of them would be considered to have completed the wedding. After that, they would toast the guests and thank them. The wedding ceremony was held in the vast martial arts arena of the Wang clan. Of course, the arena had been decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It looked very jubilant. In front of a table of banquet, Meng Yujing looked at Tan Xueqi excitedly and asked hurriedly through voice transmission, Uncle Tan, the elder master, is really coming? Yes. Tan Xueqi nodded and replied through voice transmission. His honor said that he also wants to see what kind of background this fellow has to be able to make the Wang clan reject him. Reject the Meng clan that has such a powerful person like him in charge. When will the elder master arrive? Meng Yujing's tone became more urgent. At the same time, his eyes shone brightly, like a drowning person who had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. Chapter 44-36. He should be arriving soon. Just as Tan Xueqi was replying to Meng Yujing, a figure was traveling on the road from Kanglan City to Lanshao City. Feng Su was riding on the wind. He was above the clouds, and his figure was ethereal. Even when people passed by below, they did not discover his whereabouts. It was an old man. He looked old from afar, but up close, he had white hair and a youthful face. There were faint black strands in his grayish-white hair, and his face was very ruddy. He looked more like a young man who had deliberately made up and dressed like an old man. The old man was wearing a light gray robe. As he moved, the sound of wind and thunder could be heard. Bursts of imperceptible flames swept through the air, causing the air to sizzle. Wang clan. As the old man ran, his eyes were somewhat ethereal. Scenes from back then appeared in his mind. That year, he was only a junior who was not even 10,000 years old. He followed his elders to Lanshao City to meet the Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch as if he was on a pilgrimage. The Wang clan's ultimate powerhouse patriarch was much stronger than an ordinary ultimate powerhouse. It was also because of this that the Wang clan at that time not only had a high status in Lanshao City, but also in the entire Sky Sand territory. not to mention anything else. Even the 5 ultimate powerhouses of the 5 great clans of Dancing Sun City, who had recently been annihilated, could not stop the powerful demon venerable of Qiming Mountain and his helpers. If it were the 5 great clans of Dancing Sun City or the great clans of Lanshao City, just the Wang clan's patriarch alone was enough to make the demon venerable of Qiming Mountain wary and not dare to provoke him. I really didn't expect that the Wang clan that was so powerful in the past would be reduced to such a state now. They can only rely on Senior Wang's protection. Now there are still a few ultimate powerhouses that the Wang clan can rely on. But what will happen in the future? If the Wang clan does not produce an ultimate powerhouse, their status today will soon be gone. Thinking of this, the old man thought of the clan behind him. However, while I'm lamenting the Wang clan, isn't my Meng clan the same? Now that I've stepped into the realm of an ultimate powerhouse, my strength has improved, and my lifespan has become longer. However, even so, there will be a day when I leave. Today, all the glory the Meng clan has gained because of me will vanish with me. As the old man muttered to himself, he sighed again. Based on the old man's words, his identity was obvious. He was the new supreme expert of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng, Lan Xiaocheng, the Wang family. With the appearance of the newlyweds, the atmosphere of the Wang family's wedding banquet was completely ignited. This son-in-law of the Wang family is really a talent. Just her looks alone are enough to make her the #1 beauty in Lanshao City. I wonder what kind of background this son-in-law of the Wang family has. For the Wang family to reject the Meng family, his background must be extraordinary. When Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu walked up to the stage from 2 different directions, the guests below the stage couldn't help but burst into discussion. Wang Luoyu was the #1 beauty in Lanshao City. Even those who had not seen her before were mentally prepared for her appearance. However, they were unfamiliar with Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng. Due to this reason, most of the people's attention was on Li Feng. Welcome to our Wang family's grand wedding banquet. As the patriarch of the Wang family, I, Wang Kuei, would like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend this banquet. On the stage, the patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, bowed to the people below the stage as he was the one presiding over the wedding. In fact, it was rare for the patriarch of the Wang family to be the one presiding over the wedding banquet unless it was a direct descendant of the family marrying a woman from a prominent family or a direct descendant of the family marrying a person from a prominent family. As for the latter, it was usually a wedding banquet held in the Feng family. The patriarch of the Wang family would never be the one presiding over the wedding banquet. Therefore, in the history of the Wang family, there were very few cases where the patriarch of the Wang family would be the one presiding over the wedding of a direct descendant of the Wang family. As the current patriarch of the Wang family, this was the first time Wang Kuei had encountered such a situation. In the past, he had been the one presiding over the wedding banquet as well. However, he had been the sole casting stone for the male direct descendant of the Wang family, the female direct descendant of the Wang family, and even the female direct descendant of the Wang family. This was his first time. Because of this, it caused a lot of discussion among the people below the stage. They all felt that the Wang family's son-in-law this time was definitely not simple. He was definitely not an ordinary person. Today is the wedding banquet of our Wang family's direct descendant, Wang Luoyu. Today, she will officially marry Li Feng, a young talent who came from outside of the Sky Sand realm. I, and even the Wang family, will give them our highest blessings. Also, when Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu walked up to the stage, Wang Kuei, the patriarch of the Wang family, began a long speech that Duan Lingtian almost dozed off. However, during this process, Duan Lingtian's gaze swept across the crowd below the stage. Most people's gazes were normal. They stared at him with eyes full of puzzlement and curiosity. However, there was also one gaze that was exceptionally sharp and vicious. It was none other than the disciple of the Meng family from Kanglan City, who had been overbearing when he had accompanied Wang Kuei to welcome the guests earlier, Meng Yuzheng. Duan Lingtian had not taken Meng Yuzheng seriously from the beginning. Even now it was still the same. Therefore, he completely ignored Meng Yuzheng's vicious gaze. However, just because he ignored Meng Yuzheng did not mean that Meng Yuzheng also ignored him. At this moment, while Meng Yuzheng stared at Duan Lingtian, he did not forget to send a voice transmission to Duan Lingtian. "Kid, you'll pay the price for your recklessness. I'll tell you the truth. My great-grandfather, the strongest person in our Meng family, is about to arrive. Once he arrives, your wedding will be over." I only hope that you can be as unyielding as before in front of that old man. When Meng Yuzhing sent the voice transmission, his tone was cold and filled with a strong sense of threat. When Duan Lingtian heard Meng Yuzhing's voice transmission, he did not look back at him. This made Meng Yuzhing even more furious. This bastard. Does he think that I'm lying to him and scaring him? At the same time, Wang Kuei, the Wang family's patriarch, finished his long speech and formally introduced Duan Lingtian to the guests below the stage. Of course, he did not go into detail about his talent and strength. He only said that he came from a large family outside of Tiansha. He was a rare young talent. After introducing Duan Lingtian's alias, Li Feng, he introduced Wang Luoyu, who was next to Duan Lingtian. At the same time, he passed the wedding gift that the Wang family had prepared to Wang Luoyu. Luoyu, even if you're married, you're still a member of our Wang family. This will never change. Wang Kuei smiled warmly. Wang Luoyu was, naturally, flattered and guiltily accepted the wedding gift from the Wang family. She knew this was a critical moment, and she could not let the cat out of the bag. She did not want to ruin her elder brother Duan's plan. After this wedding, I'll have to leave the Meng family. I heard from elder brother Duan that his hometown, the God Defiance realm, is not bad. Perhaps, I can consider going there and find a mundane realm to spend the rest of my life there. Wang Luoyu thought to herself. When the ceremony was about to end, and the guests below the stage began to eat, a clear voice rang out. A voice that was not loud but extremely clear suddenly rang in everyone's ears out of thin air. It seemed to come from all directions, and it was difficult to identify the specific source of the voice. I'm Meng Tianfeng from the Meng family. I've heard that the Wang family is marrying off a daughter, so I've come to ask for a toast. When the crowd heard this voice, they were all shocked. The Meng family? Meng Tianfeng? Is that the new supreme powerhouse from the Meng family in Songlan City? Many people cried out in surprise as their eyes widened. It's him. I didn't expect him to come personally. What's going on? A supreme powerhouse is here to attend the wedding of a junior from the Wang family? This doesn't make sense. Could the rumors be true? Meng Tianfeng, the new supreme powerhouse from the Meng family, wanted the Wang family to betroth Wang Luoyu to a junior from the Meng family, but the Wang family rejected him? If this is true, this Meng Tianfeng has come with ill intentions. Chapter 44-37. The ultimate powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng. He had arrived at the Wang clan in Lanshao City. Wang Kuei, the clan leader of the Wang clan, who had a joyous smile on his face, heard the voice from outside. His expression changed slightly before he calmed down. Then, he rose into the air and looked in the direction of Kanglan City where the Meng clan was located. He bowed slightly and cupped his hands. Clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei. Welcome Senior Meng Tianfeng. In fact, Wang Kuei did not know where Meng Tianfeng's voice came from. However, he knew that he was most likely in the direction of Kanglan City. This was because he was most likely from the Meng clan in Kanglan City. Clan leader Wang was just a young man when I first met you. I didn't expect you to become the clan leader of the Wang clan today. The voice rang out again. Then, an old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion arrived with the wind. Very soon, he appeared in Wang Kuei's field of vision and before everyone present. It's Senior Meng Tianfeng from the Meng clan. When Meng Tianfeng appeared, many people present recognized him immediately. Among them, there were also some old people who looked at Meng Tianfeng with complicated expressions. They could be considered Meng Tianfeng's old friends, and they were people of the same generation as Meng Tianfeng. However, today, the difference between them and Meng Tianfeng was like the difference between heaven and earth. Greetings, Senior Meng Tianfeng. As many people left their seats and bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng, the rest of the people present also stood up and bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng. Only a small number of senior elders remained seated in front of the table, with no intention of standing up. They were either from the same generation as Meng Tianfeng or from the forces behind them. They were not afraid of the Meng clan in Kanglan City who had Meng Tianfeng now. Although they were not ultimate powerhouses, they still had the pride of a powerful force. For example, Ta Yu, one of the three great demons under the venerable demon of the Qiming Mountain, and his adopted son, Ta Meng Sha, sat there motionlessly. They had no intention of bowing to Meng Tianfeng. The venerable demon of the Qiming Mountain was extremely powerful. He was considered a powerhouse even among the ultimate powerhouses. During the Battle of Dancing Sun City, there were 5 ultimate powerhouses in Dancing Sun City. If there were 2 less, the venerable demon of the Qiming Mountain would not even need to ask for help. At this moment, with the arrival of the Meng Tianfeng, the new ultimate powerhouse of the Meng clan, Duan Lingtian's name, was completely stolen the limelight. As for Duan Lingtian himself, he was also the ultimate powerhouse of the clan. There was no fear on Meng Qi's face. More often than not, it was more casual. This is the new clan ultimate powerhouse of the clan ultimate? He doesn't look much different from those few supreme experts in the Dancing Sun City. Meng Tian. His name. Currently, Duan Ling Tian was no longer the young lad who had never seen a supreme powerhouse before. During the battle in Dancing Sun City, not only did he see many supreme powerhouses, but he had also seen them fighting. However, his eyes and divine consciousness could not follow their movements. He could not see how they fought. Before he met an ultimate powerhouse, he was filled with longing and yearning for them. Now he was just like that. An ultimate powerhouse was an even more powerful existence. They were also living beings with emotions and desires. They were afraid of death and wanted to continue living. Apart from being stronger, they were no different from others. I didn't expect Senior to still remember me. Hearing Meng Tianfeng's words, Wang Kuei, the head of the Wang family, was flattered. After all, although he had seen the old man in front of him back then, it was only once. At that time, the other party was already an important figure in the Meng clan of Kanglan City. When he came to the Wang clan as a guest, the Wang clan leader had personally accompanied him. On the other hand, he was just a young man. At that time I could tell that you were different from ordinary young men. Later, when I heard that you had become the Wang clan leader, I mentioned this to a few old friends and praised myself for having a good eye. Meng Tianfeng smiled faintly and said, Clan leader Wang, let's end our small talk here. There are many old friends of mine here. Let me greet them. As soon as he finished speaking, Meng Tianfeng's figure flashed and he was already in the open space below. In the next moment, more than a dozen figures went up to greet Meng Tianfeng. Brother Meng, congratulations. Brother Meng, I personally went to Kanglan City to congratulate you, but because you were in seclusion, I didn't dare to disturb you. I only wanted to visit again in the future, but I didn't expect to meet you here in advance. Brother Meng, how have you been? Before Meng Tianfeng became an ultimate powerhouse, he was an important figure in the Meng clan of Kanglan City. He had also trained outside for many years and made many connections, so he had many friends outside. Among them, there was no lack of people from the ultimate forces. At the same time, the Meng clan's disciple, Meng Yuzheng, also walked over with Tan Xueqi and bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng. Yuzheng greets the ancestor. Supreme Lord. Tan Xueqi also bowed respectfully to Meng Tianfeng. Then, he took a few steps forward and stood behind Meng Tianfeng respectfully. Seeing the famous Azure Flame Saber Monarch in the Sky Sand territory act like this, Meng Tianfeng's group of old friends had complicated expressions. The Azure Flame Saber Monarch was not weaker than them. In fact, he was even stronger than them. They had befriended him as equals. But now, he had become Meng Tianfeng's follower. Just now, although Meng Tianfeng did not put on any airs, the pressure from the aura of an ultimate powerhouse made them feel as if they were sitting on pins and needles. After greeting him, they had the urge to quickly leave. They knew that Meng Tianfeng was no longer people of the same world as them. As long as they did not step into the ultimate realm, they could not be the same as before in front of Meng Tianfeng. Ancestor, that guy is the one who is going to marry the daughter of the Wang clan, Wang Luoyu. His name is Li Feng. He knows that I'm from the Meng clan of Kanglan City and that the Meng clan has an existence like you, but he still doesn't give me or the Meng clan any face. Meng Yuzheng complained to Meng Tianfeng as soon as he opened his mouth. At this moment, Meng Tianfeng's group of old friends, who were just about to find an excuse to leave, raised their eyebrows. It seemed that the rumors might really be true. The Wang clan had rejected their old friend this time and instead married the daughter of the Wang clan to a young talent from outside the Tiansha realm. However, they did not think that their old friend would be angry because of this. After all, the background of the Wang clan's son-in-law was still unclear. Rashly offending him might not be a good thing for the Meng clan. The Wang clan's choice actually explained many things. As expected, in the face of Meng Yuzheng's complaint, Meng Tianfeng said indifferently, in my opinion, It's you who doesn't know what's good for you and offended the son-in-law of the Wang clan, right? Now, although Meng Tianfeng and the others were in a corner of the wedding banquet, they were still the center of attention and had never left the sight of the crowd. Go. Apologize to young friend Li Feng. When Meng Tianfeng spoke with a stern tone, not only was Meng Yujing dumbfounded, but even the members of the Wang clan and the various guests present were stunned. What was going on? Could it be that the ultimate powerhouse of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng, knew the identity and background of the Wang clan's son-in-law? Otherwise, why would he do this? Ancestor. Meng Yujing's expression changed drastically. He originally thought that his greatest backer had arrived, but at this moment, it was as if he had fallen from heaven into the dark and boundless abyss of hell. Chapter 44-38. Even the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Shouting, who was standing behind Meng Tianfeng, was stunned. He had no idea what was going on. He had always thought that the person in front of him was angry that the Wang clan in Lanshao City did not give him face by not marrying Wang Luoyu to his direct descendant, Meng Yujing. He had thought that this person was here to cause trouble for the Wang clan. He did not expect that after Meng Yujing complained, he would reprimand him and even ask him to apologize to the Wang clan's son-in-law. What's going on? Tan Shouting and Meng Yujing were not the only ones who were stunned. Everyone else was stunned as well. This was especially true for the clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei. He also thought that Meng Tianfeng had come to look for trouble, and he was even prepared to send a message to get support. However, he never expected that Meng Tianfeng would actually change the topic and say something that everyone found unbelievable when Meng Yujing took the initiative to complain, and almost everyone thought that he would stand up for Meng Yujing. He actually asked his direct descendant, Meng Yujing, to apologize to Li Feng. Moreover, when he mentioned Li Feng, he even addressed Li Feng as young friend Li Feng. After all, this was a supreme powerhouse. Could it be that he knows about Brother Li Feng's background? At this moment, Wang Kuei could only think of this possibility. What are you waiting for? Why aren't you going? Meng Tianfeng looked at Meng Yujing indifferently. Although his tone was calm, when it entered Meng Yujing's ears, it was like a huge bell that shook his heart. In the next moment, even though Meng Yujing was extremely unwilling, he did not dare to hesitate. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, he walked toward the bridegroom today, Duan Lingtian, whose alias was Li Feng. Li Feng, I'm sorry. Once again arriving in front of Duan Lingtian, Meng Yujing no longer had the arrogance from before. Although the depths of his eyes still contained unwillingness and anger, he did not dare to show it on the surface. As for Duan Lingtian, when faced with Meng Yujing's apology, he instead said indifferently, "Young Master Meng, I don't think you've done anything wrong to me. Everyone has a heart that loves beauty. I can understand." Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Meng Yujing took a deep look at Duan Lingtian before turning around and leaving. He returned behind Meng Tianfeng and stood side by side with Tan Shouting. As for Meng Tianfeng himself, his gaze was also on Duan Lingtian. He nodded and smiled at the Duan Lingtian. "Little friend Li Feng, I heard that you came from outside the heavenly sand realm. I think the faction behind you is not ordinary." As soon as Meng Tianfeng said this, Duan Lingtian shook his head. "Senior, you flatter me. The power behind me is definitely incomparable to the current Meng family of Kanglan City." Incomparable. When Duan Lingtian said this, it sounded like he was being modest. However, when it entered the ears of Meng Tianfeng and Wang Kuei, it was completely different. Incomparable. Was the power behind Li Feng incomparable to the Meng family, or was the Meng family incomparable to the power behind him? There was a double meaning in his words. At this moment, Wang Kuei was also somewhat stunned. So this old fart Meng Tianfeng doesn't know about Brother Li Feng's background? If he knew, he would not have said such a thing. There was no need for that. It was better to just get close to him. However, if that was the case, why was Meng Tianfeng so polite to Brother Li Feng? Wang Kuei could not understand. Could it be because my Wang family's attitude towards Brother Li Feng is different? Although this could explain some things, it should not be enough to make a supreme expert like Meng Tianfeng lower his head. There must be some other reason. My young friend Li Feng, you are too humble. Meng Tianfeng shook his head. If I say that my young friend Li Feng came from a humble background, I'm afraid no one would believe that you were able to get the inherited heaven sword from the Wang family. When Meng Tianfeng said this, Duan Lingtian did not feel anything. This was because he had never heard of the inherited heaven sword. However, Duan Lingtian did not feel anything. It did not mean that others did not feel anything. Especially the Wang family head, Wang Kuei. His pupils shrank sharply as his heart trembled. How did he know? The inherited heaven sword. This was the name of the supreme expert that he had personally invited to the Wang clan. When that supreme expert was only a high-level ultimate god, this name had already resounded throughout the entire Heavenly Sand territory. Now, the name of the inherited heaven sword was even more shocking in the Sky Sand territory. This was because he was one of the strongest supreme experts in the Sky Sand territory. He was as famous as the Qi Ming demon venerable from the Qi Ming mountain. If the supreme experts in the Sky Sand territory were divided into two echelons, then, supreme experts like the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, and the Qi Ming demon venerable would be in the first echelon. For example, Meng Tianfeng, the other supreme experts in Lanshao City, Kanglan City, and even the 5 supreme experts in Dancing Sun City would be in the second echelon. What? The inherited heaven sword is here? The Wang family is so influential? Although I heard that the Wang family was related to the inherited heaven sword, Situ Venerable, it was only hearsay. After all, the inherited heaven sword is such a lofty existence. I didn't expect it to be related to the Wang family. I heard about this too. I thought it was fake, but now it seems like it might be true. Earlier, someone said that if the Wang family was only related to ordinary supreme experts and did not have any supreme experts to rely on, they would not be able to maintain their mansion in Lanshao City. It was because of the existence of the inherited heaven sword that they could do this. Now it seems like it's true. Many guests present were in an uproar at this time. Of course, there were also some guests who were not surprised. It was obvious that they knew about the relationship between the inherited heaven sword and the Wang family. Among them was the Ye family's elder, Yi Cheng, and Yi Chengwei's father. I didn't expect the Wang family to invite the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. It seems like the Wang family has a certain understanding of this young man's strength and background. Yi Cheng was secretly shocked. At this time, Duan Lingtian also learned about the coldness of the 3 words inherited heaven sword, through the discussions and whispers of many guests. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was a top powerhouse in Tiansha. He was as famous as the Qi Ming demon venerable of Qi Ming mountain. Patriarch Wang. At this time, Meng Tianfeng looked at Wang Kuei and said with a faint smile, "I'm here to congratulate the Wang family on this marriage and to pay a visit to the inherited heaven sword, Senior Situ. Patriarch Wang, please tell him that I, Meng Tianfeng, want to meet Senior Situ. I have some questions about cultivation that I need to ask him for help." It was a complete accident that Meng Tianfeng knew that the inherited heaven sword had come to the Wang family. This was because he had gone to the inherited heaven sword's cultivation ground at around the same time and was told that the inherited heaven sword had already left. It should be noted that the inherited heaven sword rarely left its place of practice. It was usually in secluded cultivation. This time, it had left at this time, so it was easy to imagine its destination. It was also at this moment that he guessed that the inherited heaven sword was most likely taken away by the Wang family of Langxiaking. Just now, when he saw the reaction of the patriarch of the Wang family, Wang Kuei, he confirmed his guess. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was in the Wang family. Senior Meng. At the same time, Wang Kuei spoke after a moment of silence. "Senior Situ wants you to meet him. Please follow me." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kuei led the way. Meng Tianfeng followed closely behind him. A wedding was completely interrupted with the arrival of Meng Tianfeng, and the originally festive atmosphere came to an abrupt end. If it were a normal newlywed, they would definitely be angry at Meng Tianfeng for stealing the limelight. However, Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu did not feel anything. Instead, it was Yi Chengwei who complained unhappily in Wang Luoyu's ear. This new supreme master of the Meng family came at the right time. But it's not bad to see Meng Yuzheng suffer. He's really a toad lusting after a swan. How can a good-for-nothing like Meng Yuzheng be worthy of my sister Luoyu? Duan Lingtian was beside Wang Luoyu at this time. When he heard Yi Chengwei's words, he did not say anything. Instead, it was Wang Luoyu who comforted Yi Chengwei. It was as if the female lead today was not her but Yi Chengwei. This was because Yi Chengwei was even more annoyed. Duan Lingtian inadvertently looked around and happened to meet Meng Yuzheng's eyes. It was as if fire was about to shoot out of Meng Yuzhing's eyes. The hatred in his eyes was even more intense than before. Duan Lingtian did not care about this. He did not care about a good-for-nothing like him. If the Meng family wanted to deal with him, as long as Meng Tianfeng did not personally make a move, no one in the Meng family would be able to stop him. Uncle Tan. Tan Xueqi did not leave with Meng Tianfeng. He stood beside Meng Yuzhing and heard Meng Yuzhing's words. After today, you can find an opportunity to kill him. As long as you bring his corpse back to me, I'll lend you the paramount divinity to comprehend. I believe in Uncle Tan's methods. The flames of hatred burned in the depths of Meng Yuzhing's eyes. On the other hand, the flames of greed rose in Tan Xueqing's eyes. However, although he yearned for the paramount divinity that was suitable for him to comprehend, Tan Xueqing still retained his rationality. Meng Tianfeng's words today are not without reason. This Li Feng is definitely not an ordinary person. Otherwise, the Wang family would not have been able to get the inherited heaven sword for him. Although he, Tan Xueqing, was also known as the Azure Flame Saber King. However, in front of the inherited heaven sword, he was only a younger brother among younger brothers. There was no comparison at all. Even before the inherited heaven sword had become an ultimate expert, it would have been extremely easy to kill him. Moreover, the inherited heaven sword had become an ultimate expert and stood at the peak of the heavenly sand realm. Even if I find an opportunity to make a move, I still have to test him. Although it's almost impossible for him to have an ultimate expert protecting him, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have an ultimate expert protecting him. After confirming that he has no one protecting him or that I can deal with the people protecting him, I'll make a move. Chapter 44-39. Although Tan Xueqing dreamed of obtaining a suitable omnipotent divinity, even if it was just borrowing it, however, if he could lose his life because of it, he would rather not. Although he was ambitious, the prerequisite for achieving his ambition was to be able to live on properly. Once a person died, there would be nothing left. No matter how ambitious he would need to be alive to be able to grow wild. Uncle Tan? Seeing that Tan Xueqing did not respond for a long time, Meng Yuzhing's expression darkened. Could it be that the Azure Flame Saber King was so frightened today that he forgot about the deal he made with him? Or did he not have the guts to continue the deal? I know what to do. Tan Xueqing spoke at this time. As long as there is a chance, I will not give up the chance to borrow the omnipotent divinity from you. Hearing Tan Xueqing's words, Meng Yuzhing inwardly heaved a sigh of relief. His originally gloomy expression eased a lot, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Li Feng. So what if you're in the limelight today? Unless you don't leave the Wang family. Unless the Wang family can send experts to protect you. Otherwise, when the Azure Flame Saber King makes a move, you won't be able to escape death. Although the inherited heaven sword was guarding the Wang family today, which made him feel extremely sullen, Meng Yuzhing also knew that the inherited heaven sword was invited by the Wang family to guard the situation. It was impossible for the inherited heaven sword to protect the Wang family's son-in-law, Li Feng. Even the other experts of the Wang family who were comparable to the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xueqing, would not be sent to protect Li Feng. This was because such experts could be counted on one hand in the entire Wang family. They were the top experts of the Wang family. It was impossible for them to be a guard, even if that person was the son-in-law of the Wang family. At this moment, Duan Lingtian naturally did not know what Meng Yuzhing was thinking, nor did he know that the Azure Flame Saber King, Tan Xueqing, had reached an agreement with Meng Yuzhing. Duan Lingtian was waiting for the return of the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Kuei, to continue the wedding between Li Feng and Wang Luoyu. With the arrival of the strongest expert of the Meng clan, Meng Tianfeng, the wedding had lost a lot of the limelight. Even after Meng Tianfeng left, most people were still talking about Meng Tianfeng and the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, whom Meng Tianfeng said was invited by the Wang clan. Situ Lei was an extremely famous existence in the Sky Sand realm. He was also recognized as one of the strongest experts in the Sky Sand realm. As long as Situ Lei is here, it will be difficult for the Wang clan to decline. Many people sighed inwardly. At this moment, many people had spread the news of what had happened. This made some of the people and forces who had declined the Wang family's invitation feel somewhat regretful. They didn't expect the Wang family to keep in close contact with Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword. This time, they even invited Situ Lei, who no ordinary person could invite, to the Wang family. I should have gone. Not to mention that I'm not that busy to begin with. Even if I'm really busy, I should still go. I wonder if the Wang clan will bear a grudge this time. The Wang clan's wedding shocked everyone inside and outside the Wang clan. After the news spread throughout Lanshao City, it caused a stir everywhere, and people began to discuss the meeting between the two strongest experts of the Wang clan. As for Duan Lingtian, who was supposed to be the main character of the day, Li Feng and Wang Luoyu, their limelight was completely stolen. Of course, the two of them didn't care about this. After going through the entire process of the wedding, the two of them returned to their bridal chamber, which was the courtyard where Duan Lingtian was staying in the Wang clan. At this time, the courtyard had been refurbished. When Duan Lingtian and Wang Luoyu returned, all the servants and maids sensibly waited outside, leaving the bridal chamber to the two of them. Elder brother Duan, you've worked hard today. In the bridal chamber, Wang Luoyu looked at Duan Lingtian with an apologetic expression. Today, this elder brother Duan not only had to do things, but he also had to deal with the malice of Meng Yujing from the Meng clan in Lanshao City. When the strongest expert from the Meng clan arrived, she even broke out in a cold sweat for this elder brother Duan. Fortunately, it was a close call in the end. It's nothing. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. In the next few days, we'll continue to stay in the bridal chamber and not go out, creating the illusion that we're in a gentle home. After a few days, I'll look for Patriarch Wang and tell him that I'm going to take you out for a walk. At that time, the Wang clan won't suspect anything. I'll send you far away from the Wang clan and Lanshao City, and that'll count as fulfilling my promise to your brother. Although he couldn't use what Wang Yiyuan had left for him now, he could imagine that it would be a great help to him in the future. Because of this, as long as there was a glimmer of hope to fulfill Wang Yiyuan's promise, he would give it a try. Yes. Wang Luoyu couldn't help but feel excited when she heard this. She was finally going to leave this place that was like a cage that trapped her freedom. All of this was given to her by her late brother. When she thought of her late brother, Wang Luoyu's eyes turned red again. It took her a long time to return to normal. I want to live well, live freely. That way, I won't waste my brother's painstaking efforts. Wang Luoyu warned herself inwardly. At the same time, a figure appeared in Wang Luoyu's mind. It was a beautiful figure. Apart from her brother, she was the person she trusted the most. Yi Changwei. Elder brother Duan. Wang Luoyu hesitated for a moment before she finally looked at Duan Lingtian and said, My elder sister Changwei seems to like you a little. She's a very good person if it's possible. Before Wang Luoyu could finish speaking, Duan Lingtian cut her off. Impossible. I already have a wife. After I've settled you down, I'll continue to search for a way to save my wife. There's no need to say such nonsense. Duan Lingtian's tone became much calmer as he spoke, causing Wang Luoyu to feel estranged. She instantly shut her mouth and didn't dare to say anything else. Of course, although she didn't say anything else, she still couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Elder sister Changwei. As a sister, I've done my best before leaving. In the future, the outer realm and the myriad worlds are vast. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for us to meet again. In order to prevent the plan from failing, even if Wang Luoyu trusted Yi Changwei greatly and felt it was fine to tell Yi Changwei the truth, she still couldn't say anything. This was because she had promised her elder brother Duan, who had traveled thousands of miles, to save her. If her elder brother Duan didn't allow her to say anything, it was impossible for her to say anything. Rest well on the bed for the next few days. Duan Lingtian said to Yi Changwei before he disappeared from his spot in just a blink of an eye. He had entered a spatial artifact to cultivate. This spatial artifact was just an ordinary spatial artifact. It was a toy that he had casually refined. With his current attainments in the law of space, even if his weapon refinement level was only at the level of weapon refinement in the mundane realm, he was still able to create this spatial artifact by himself after reading some information on weapon refinement in the outer realm. This spatial artifact was an inconspicuous piece of metal that was exposed under the corner of a square table. Even if others saw it, it would be difficult for them to notice anything unusual about it. When Yi Changwei saw this, although she was curious about where her elder brother Duan had gone, she knew he would definitely not leave her behind. If he was such a person, he wouldn't have come to the Wang family in Lan Xiaocheng to look for her. Heaven Inheritance Sword. Duan Lingtian entered the spatial artifact that he had refined himself. He sat cross-legged in the void with his eyes closed. While he was floating in the void, images of what he had experienced today appeared in his mind. Today, he had also learned from a group of people that the Heaven Inheritance Sword Situ Lei, was extraordinary. Even the new omnipotent expert of the Wang family had to bow down to him. He's as famous as the one from Qiming Mountain in the Heavenly Sand Territory? Duan Lingtian had not seen Situ Lei. However, he had seen the Qiming demon venerate from the Qiming Mountain before. Back in the Dancing Sun City, he had seen how powerful that Qiming demon venerate was. He had led the Qiming demon venerate from the Qiming Mountain to destroy the Dancing Sun City. He had even found a supreme expert to help him kill the supreme experts of the Dancing Sun City and scare off the supreme experts who had survived. The 5 first-rate clans of Dancing Sun City had also been destroyed. Dancing Sun City had also been reduced to ruins. For this reason, in Duan Lingtian's opinion, a person like Demon Venerable Qi Ming was a peerless existence who could single-handedly destroy a large city that was guarded by many supreme powerhouses. Today, he had learned that the Heaven Inheritance Sword, Situ Lei, whom the Wang family had invited, was also an omnipotent expert who was not weaker than the Qi Ming Demon Venerable. Obviously, he was also a figure who could destroy a large city with his own strength. Heaven Inheritance Sword. Judging from his name, he's obviously a sword cultivator. And from what those people said, he's also good at sword principle. When he thought of this, Duan Lingtian's eyes turned. I wonder how far he has come in sword principle. Is he stronger than me? There's a high probability that he's not as good as me. Duan Lingtian was very confident in his own attainments in sword principle. Even though he knew that the Heaven Inheritance Sword, Situ Lei, had lived for a long time, the sword principle depended more on luck and talent. Moreover, he had also heard that Situ Lei did not rely on sword principle to become an omnipotent expert. Although he had mastered sword principle before becoming an omnipotent expert, his attainments in sword principle were not enough to support him to become an omnipotent expert. I wonder if the Wang family will arrange for me to meet him. Originally, Duan Lingtian was just thinking about it casually. However, what he did not expect was that a few days later, not long after he walked out of the bridal chamber, he saw the Wang family head, Wang Kuei, rushing over in a hurry. When Wang Kuei saw Duan Lingtian, his gaze was a little ambiguous, but he did not forget about the business at hand. Brother Li Feng, a few days ago, you heard Meng Tianfeng mention Senior Situ. These few days, Senior Situ is planning to leave. Before he left, he said that he wanted to see you, Brother Li Feng. Chapter 4440. Duan Lingtian did not expect Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword, to invite him to a meeting. After all, Situ Lei was a supreme expert. Moreover, he was not an ordinary supreme expert. In the Heavenly Sand Territory, he was as famous as the Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territories, Heavenly Sand Territory. Even if he had the chance to meet Situ Lei, it would be under the recommendation of the Wang clan. If Situ Lei wanted to meet him personally, he would have to know about his current strength and innate talent. Did the Wang clan tell him that I possess strength close to that of an invincible higher ultimate god, even though I'm not even 10,000 years old? Duan Lingtian could only think of this at this moment. If that's really the case, the Wang clan really doesn't hide anything from him. Based on the situation at the wedding, most of the guests did not know about his strength. Most of them were curious about him as the Wang clan's son-in-law. Due to this reason, he knew the Wang clan did not reveal his background. He had noticed earlier that most of the people in the Wang clan did not know about his background. Therefore, he guessed the Wang clan would not announce this to the public. Under such circumstances, the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, could make the Wang clan take the initiative to mention his strength. It could be said that the Wang clan really did not hide anything from him. Brother Li Feng. Wang Kuei, the clan leader of the Wang clan, said solemnly when he saw Duan Lingtian's doubtful expression. Senior Situ is not an ordinary ally of the Wang clan. This time, it was the Supreme Elder who mentioned Brother Li Feng's strength and talent to Senior Situ. That's why he wanted to see a monstrous talent like you. Most importantly, the Supreme Elder mentioned Brother Li Feng's attainment in the Sword Dao. Senior Situ said that if the Supreme Elder did not exaggerate, your attainment in the Sword Dao is definitely above his. When Wang Kuei said this, he looked at Duan Lingtian again with a hint of shock in the depths of his eyes. He hadn't comprehended any of the 4 Daos of heaven and earth, so he didn't know much about them. Previously, he had only heard their Wang clan's Grand Elder, Wang Jingrao, say that the young man before him was extremely accomplished in the way of the sword. However, he did not have any idea about this. Yet now, a supreme expert who stood at the peak of the Sky Sand Realm had said that the young man's attainments in the Sword Dao were above his. How could he not be shocked? Since Duan Tian had already expected this, he was not surprised by Wang Kuei's words. He guessed that the Wang clan had sold him to Situ Lei. The only thing he hadn't expected was that the Wang clan had also mentioned the Sword Dao that he had mastered. Presumably, the main reason Situ Lei wanted to see him was because of the Sword Dao that he had mastered. In terms of strength, I'm far inferior to him. But in terms of attainments in the Sword Dao, he's probably inferior to me. However, even if they walk on different paths of Sword Dao, if they can learn from each other, they can still obtain a certain level of comprehension. That Situ Lei must have thought of this point. Duan Tian had also guessed Situ Lei's thoughts at this time. It could be said that Situ Lei wanted to see him. Thinking of this, Duan Tian's heart settled. It was not impossible for him to share his comprehension of the Sword Dao for the other party to learn from. As long as the other party gave enough benefits, it was not impossible. Moreover, Duan Tian also believed that as long as he entertained Situ Lei well this time, the Wang clan would completely treat him as one of their own and would no longer treat him as an outsider. Now, the reason why the Wang clan still had its former glory could be said to be completely relying on the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, this big tree. For Situ Lei, the Wang clan would definitely agree to all his requests. Usually, Situ Lei did not have anything to ask of the Wang clan. After all, the current Wang clan was a clan that did not even have a supreme expert. Situ Lei took care of the Wang clan because of the friendship of the supreme expert of the Wang clan. However, friendship would also fade. Especially after helping the Wang clan time and time again. Every time he helped the Wang clan, he was returning the favor. Perhaps the supreme expert of the Wang clan in the past had done Situ Lei a great favor, but no matter how great the favor was, there would come a time when it was over. Now that the Wang clan had the opportunity to do Situ Lei a favor through Duan Tian, they were naturally happy to do so. Once Duan Tian really did this favor on behalf of the Wang clan, Duan Tian would naturally no longer be an outsider on the Wang clan's side from then on. At the very least, the higher-ups of the Wang clan, such as the Wang clan leader Wang Kuei and the two supreme elders with the highest status in the Wang clan, would completely treat Duan Tian as one of their own. Brother Li Feng, I'll be frank with you. This time, the Wang clan hopes that you can discuss the Sword Dao with Senior Situ. With your greater attainments than Senior Situ, you'll definitely be able to give him some inspiration. This time, as long as Senior Situ is satisfied, you can ask for anything from the Wang clan. As long as it's within the Wang clan's power, we won't be stingy. Wang Kuei spoke very seriously and directly stated the Wang clan's desire this time without beating around the bush. What Wang Kuei said now was completely in line with what Duan Tian had guessed. You jest, clan leader. Duan Tian smiled faintly. I, Li Feng, am now the son-in-law of the Wang clan and can be considered half a member of the Wang clan. If the Wang clan needs something, I, Li Feng, will naturally not decline if it's within my power. I wonder, when will Senior Situ have the time to see me? Duan Tian's words were also very simple and direct. Upon hearing Duan Tian's words, Wang Kuei's eyes lit up, and in the next moment, his tone became much more excited. Brother Li Feng, Senior Situ said that whenever you're free, he can come and see you directly. After Situ Lei found out that Duan Tian's attainments in the Sword Dao were above his, he did not feel that he was superior just because he was an ultimate expert. The one who reached the top was first. At least, in the Sword Dao, the son-in-law of the Wang clan was ahead of him. Moreover, he also found out from the Wang clan that this son-in-law of the Wang clan, who was not even 10,000 years old, had such strength behind him. He must have an extraordinary background. Behind the other party's background, there might be an ultimate expert who was stronger than him. For such a person, even if Situ Lei could do whatever he wanted in the Sky Sand Realm, he would not dare to take advantage of his seniority. Senior Situ is joking. Duan Tian smiled slightly. He's a senior, and I'm a junior. Naturally, I should be the one to see him. Clan leader, please take me to see Senior Situ. Brother Li Feng, thank you. Upon hearing Duan Tian's words, Wang Kuei secretly breathed a sigh of relief and could not help but feel grateful. From his perspective, and even the Wang clan's perspective, naturally, they did not want Situ Lei to come and see Duan Tian. After all, Situ Lei's status in the eyes of the Wang clan was extraordinary. Moreover, in terms of age and seniority, Situ Lei was an elder. However, they could not ask too much of Li Feng. Therefore, they could only let Li Feng make the decision himself. Now that Li Feng was so tactful, he breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he also sent a message to the Wang clan's grand elder, Wang Jingrao, about Li Feng's attitude. The Wang clan owes brother Li Feng this favor. After Senior Situ leaves, bring brother Li Feng to our Wang clan's treasury and let him choose whatever he wants. The Wang clan cannot be stingy in this regard. Of course, with brother Li Feng's strength and talent, as well as his extraordinary background. Even in our Wang clan's treasury, there might not be many things that brother Li Feng will want. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian was following Wang Kuei to find the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. However, he did not know that the Wang clan's treasury had already opened its doors to him, allowing him to choose any treasure he wanted. Chapter 44-41. It was not like Duan Ling Tian had never seen a supreme powerhouse before. Even before coming to the outer realm, he had seen the supreme experts in the realm battlefield of the god-defying realm, and had even come into contact with them. However, there seemed to be only one supreme powerhouse that he had met in the past. The feeling he got from him was not weaker than the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei. It was a very strange feeling. Situ Lei had the demeanor of an immortal. He seemed ordinary, but he gave him a lot of pressure. Even the divine tree of life in his small world throbbed. He had not felt this way for a long time. Only when he was bathing in the god-defying world's realm battlefield in the god-defying world, did the owner of the mysterious voice give him such a feeling. Of course, the person who showed up at that time might not be the real body. If the person who showed up at that time was not the real body, does that mean that his strength might be above Situ Lei's? At this moment, Duan Ling Tian could not help but think. Thinking of this, Duan Ling Tian could not help but secretly gasp. The inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was already a top figure in the heavenly sand realm. How strong would the person be if he was stronger than him? Of course, Duan Ling Tian also knew that although the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was a top figure in the heavenly sand realm, he did not represent the top combat power in the outer realm. This was because even the heavenly sand realm was only the border of the outer realm. It belonged to the outer realm, the most remote and backward place. This was also something that Duan Ling Tian further understood after coming to the Wang family in Lanshao City. Greetings, Senior Situ. After all, it was not the first time that Duan Ling Tian had faced a supreme powerhouse. He had even seen a battle between supreme powerhouses. At this moment, he seemed very casual in front of Situ Lei. Compared to the Wang family head, Wang Kuei, he was completely opposite. At this moment, Wang Kuei respectfully greeted Situ Lei in front of him. He held his breath and did not even dare to breathe. Seeing Duan Ling Tian like this, a strange light flashed in the depths of Situ Lei's eyes, and then he gave a friendly smile. Little friendly Feng, there's no need to be so polite. In terms of cultivation, I'm superior to you because I'm much older than you. In terms of the sword Dao, I might not be inferior to you. As soon as he finished speaking, Situ Lei continued without waiting for Duan Ling Tian to speak. I presume little friendly Feng already knows the purpose of my invitation this time. I'm a straightforward person who likes to be straightforward and doesn't like to beat around the bush. The reason I'm looking for you, young friendly Feng, is because I hope to discuss Sword Dao with you, young friendly Feng. As long as I benefit from the discussion, I will definitely not mistreat my young friendly Feng. Situ Lei simply said. Duan Ling Tian was also shocked by Situ Lei's straightforwardness. He thought that Situ Lei just wanted him to demonstrate his swordsmanship through the Wang family. But now it seemed that Situ Lei was also very sincere. This also made Duan Ling Tian have a good impression of Situ Lei. No matter what, Situ Lei was still a high and mighty expert, and the current him was not even an invincible upper-level ultimate god. Senior Situ, you must be joking. Duan Ling Tian smiled slightly. Now that I've married the daughter of the Wang family, I'm considered half a member of the Wang family. Senior, you've taken great care of the Wang family all these years. Now that I'm the son-in-law of the Wang family, it's only right for me to do something for you. I dare not ask for anything in return. As soon as Duan Ling Tian said this, Wang Kuei's gaze toward Duan Ling Tian became even friendlier. Situ Lei was stunned for a moment before he laughed. Good. The Wang family has really found a good son-in-law this time. Senior Situ, I'll take my leave first. After greeting Situ Lei, Wang Kuei looked at Duan Ling Tian again and said with a smile, Brother Li Feng, please take good care of Senior Situ on behalf of the Wang family. Now, no matter how he looked at the young man in front of him, he was pleasing to the eye. Their Wang family had really found a good son-in-law this time. Compared to him, Meng Yujing of the Meng family in Kanglan City was simply mud. Don't worry, family head. Duan Ling Tian nodded. I won't hide anything from Senior Situ. As for Duan Ling Tian, he really didn't intend to keep it to himself. In his opinion, Situ Lei was a supreme expert, and he had a good relationship with him. For him, there were only benefits and no disadvantages. Even if Situ Lei found out the purpose of his visit to the Wang family in the future, he might not do anything to him and might even remember his favor. And with his favor, when the Wang family found out the truth in the future, they might not hold a grudge against him. He still had a good impression of some people in the Wang family. If he could save Wang Luoyu without falling out with the Wang family, he did not want to fall out with the Wang family. Of course, his original plan would not change. Although he felt that even if he told the Wang family the truth now, the Wang family would not do anything to him, he still did not intend to take the risk. What if, among the people in power in the Wang family, he had only seen the Supreme Elder Wang Jingrao and the family head Wang Kuei? There was still one Supreme Elder that he had not seen yet. Wonderful! Amazing! Young friend Li Feng, your sword Dao is simply superb. I thought that even if my sword Dao is not as good as yours, the gap is not big. Now it seems that I am a frog in a well. If I can master the sword Dao at your level, I am confident that I can suppress all the powerful experts in Heavenly Sand Realm. Seeing Duan Ling Tian show the profundity of sword Dao without holding back, the inherited heaven sword Situ Lei's eyes shone brighter and brighter. In the end, he also gestured. Another profundity of sword Dao appeared in Duan Ling Tian's divine artifact. At this moment, Situ Lei had entered the space in Duan Ling Tian's spatial divine artifact. It was risky for an ordinary person to rashly enter someone else's spatial divine artifact. However, as a supreme expert, if Situ Lei really unleashed his full power, he could easily destroy the space in Duan Ling Tian's spatial divine artifact and escape. In front of Situ Lei, Duan Ling Tian did his best to show the profundity of sword Dao. He showed the profundity of space sword Dao without holding back, causing Situ Lei to be mesmerized. During this process, Duan Ling Tian also looked at Situ Lei's sword Dao. It was not difficult for him to find some flaws in it. If Situ Lei wanted to observe Duan Ling Tian's sword Dao, it would be difficult for him to fix these flaws. However, under Duan Ling Tian's guidance, although he could not make up for many flaws, he knew the root cause of the next time. As long as Situ Lei was given time, he could completely eliminate those flaws. And this also made Situ Lei grateful to Duan Ling Tian. After getting along for a period of time, Duan Ling Tian also understood this supreme expert better. In front of him, the other party was completely on the same level as him and never put on the slightest airs. Even when asking for his guidance, he was as obedient as a studious student. Of course, after getting along with the other party for a period of time, Duan Ling Tian was not without gains. Although the other party's sword Dao was not enough to feed back Duan Ling Tian, the other party still gave Duan Ling Tian a lot of pointers on the laws of space and the laws of time. Although the other party was not good at these two laws, after all, he had lived for a long time. Many opponents and friends were good at the laws of space and the laws of time, so he could also guide Duan Ling Tian in this regard. The two of them guided each other and stayed together for a full 3 years before leaving the spatial artifact. Duan Ling Tian's original plan to leave the Wang family in a few days was delayed for a full 3 years. On the other side, Wang Luoyu was also patiently waiting. While waiting, her days were also much better than before. It could even be said that it was a world of difference. Every few days, a large amount of cultivation resources that even the direct descendants of the Wang clan would be jealous of would be delivered to her for her to enjoy. She was like the most honorable princess of the Wang family, shining brightly. Some people said that the grandson of the Wang family's patriarch, Wang Kuei, was publicly slapped by Wang Kuei because he accidentally said something about Wang Luoyu's deceased brother, Wang Yiyuan. At that moment, everyone in the Wang family knew that Wang Luoyu had flown to the top and become the Wang family's golden phoenix. At the same time, more and more people were curious about the background of Wang Luoyu's husband, the young man named Li Feng. What kind of background did he have to be able to allow Wang Luoyu's status in the Wang family to skyrocket? Miss you, everyone in the Wang family is saying that you have a good reputation for marrying a person of such high status like young Master Li Feng. The servant girl who helped Wang Luoyu with her makeup said to Wang Luoyu. When Wang Luoyu heard this, she could not help but feel a little dazed. Then, a bitter smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. She was not good enough for that elder brother Duan. It's been 3 years. Elder brother Duan should be coming back soon, right? Wang Luoyu thought to herself. Chapter 44-42. 3 years was enough for Wang Luoyu to come up with many new ideas. 3 years ago, the first thing she wanted to do was follow her elder brother Duan's dying wish and leave the Wang clan with her elder brother Duan. From then on, she would no longer be a marriage tool for the Wang clan. Now that she had been in the Wang clan for 3 years, she had been treated extremely well by the Wang clan. Even the clan leader of the Wang clan, Wang Kuei, was extremely courteous when he saw her. She was even fortunate enough to meet one of the Wang clan's supreme elders. The supreme elders even told her that she could look for him directly if she needed help. The change in the Wang clan's attitude towards her was like heaven and earth. Now, she was like a high and mighty princess in the Wang clan. She was sought after by everyone. No matter where she went, she was like the moon surrounded by stars. It should be known that even when her elder brother Wang Yiyuan was still alive, she had never received such treatment. Of course, Wang Luoyu knew very well that the reason she was able to receive such treatment was all because of her elder brother Duan. Of course, in the eyes of the Wang clan, he was not Duan Lingtian, but Li Feng. Recently, she had thought more than once about how great it would be if her elder brother Duan was not Duan Lingtian but Li Feng, her husband. Moreover, under the influence of the people around her, and when she thought about how considerate and responsible her elder brother Duan was, she had unknowingly developed a favorable impression of him. Perhaps, even if she was asked to marry him now, she would not reject it. Big brother Duan is really outstanding. It's no wonder that even a woman like Big Sister Rose who has high standards would favor him so much. Wang Luoyu sighed inwardly. She knew very well how high her good sister's standards were. In the entire Sky Sand territory, there was no young talent of the same generation that she liked. Of course, she also knew that such an outstanding man did not belong to her sister Rose, and it was impossible for him to belong to her. I can't believe. 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. 3 years was not a long time for Duan Lingtian, and it passed in the blink of an eye. Moreover, he had spent the past 3 years with Situ Lei, the inherited heaven sword. While he demonstrated the sword Dao to Situ Lei also tried his best to help him comprehend the law of time and the law of space. Although Situ Lei was not proficient in these two laws, he had lived for a long time and was very knowledgeable. Moreover, he had many floating mirror image, that he had fought with people who were proficient in these two laws. Among those scryer images, there were even scryer images of invincible high-level ultimate gods fighting. Not to mention the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god, who was proficient in the law of time and the law of space. Even the scryer image of an invincible upper-level supreme god, who was proficient in other ordinary laws, was extremely precious in the outer realm or even the myriad worlds. More than 90% of invincible higher-level supreme gods were existences who had comprehended and mastered the laws of nature to the realm of perfection. Such an existence could be said to have walked to the end of the law he was proficient in and comprehended to the pinnacle. The laws displayed in the scryer recordings of such existences could be said to be flawless. One could imagine how precious it was. And Duan Lingtian had obtained such a scryer image from Situ Lei. It should be known that this kind of scryer image, because of its preciousness, was often recorded with restrictions on it, and there was no way to forcibly copy it. And Situ Lei had given this scryer image to Duan Lingtian. To the current Duan Lingtian, the value of this scryer image was actually not inferior to the godhead of an ultimate god in the law of space. In fact, it might even be of greater help to him. Therefore, even though Situ Lei's attainments in the sword Dao had not been small in the past 3 years, Duan Lingtian still felt that he had gained a great advantage. Perhaps the improvement he had obtained in the law of space was not as good as Situ Lei's gains in the sword Dao. But that might not be the case in the future. Little friend Li Feng, after parting today, I don't know when we'll meet again. There should be some things in this storage ring that you can use. Even if you can't use them, it shouldn't be difficult to exchange them for something you can use. Before parting, Situ Lei handed Duan Lingtian a storage ring. In these 3 years, thanks to little friend Li Feng's magnanimity, my progress in the sword Dao has been rapid. Perhaps, it won't be long before there will be no one who can match me in the heavenly sands realm. As he spoke, Situ Lei's eyes were filled with yearning. Currently, although he was considered one of the strongest ultimate gods in the heavenly sands realm, He was only one of the strongest ultimate gods. There were still a few people who could compete with him. And if his sword Dao improved further, there was hope for him to surpass those few people. And this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that the increase in his strength also meant that it would be much easier for him to resist the next 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation. Resisting the 10,000 years of heavenly tribulation became easier, which also meant that he could live for a period of time. This was the most important thing. Because of this, he felt that he owed Duan Lingtian a great favor. Even if he had given Duan Lingtian a scry recording of a battle between two ultimate gods who had comprehended the laws of space to perfection, he still felt that it was far from enough. In his eyes, there was nothing more important than his own life. Whether it was that scry recording or the storage ring in his hands, they were all just worldly possessions. Once he died, no matter how good his worldly possessions were, he would not be able to enjoy them. Senior Situ, that scry recording of yours is enough to repay my favor. Duan Lingtian did not take the storage ring that Situ Lei handed over. Even though he knew that there were definitely many things he needed in this storage ring, as he said, he felt that the scry recording given by Situ Lei was enough to repay the favor of sharing his understanding of the sword Dao. At first, Situ Lei was still insisting, but when he saw Duan Lingtian's determination, he did not continue to force Duan Lingtian. However, at this time, there was a slight change in the way he looked at Duan Lingtian. Little friend Li Feng, it's fine if you don't accept this storage ring. However, I will give little friend Li Feng another thing. This thing, little friend Li Feng, you must accept it. This thing to little friend Li Feng may never be of use. However, once it is of use, to little friend Li Feng, it may be a life-saving item. As Situ Lei spoke, he had already raised his hand and took out an ordinary-looking jade piece. However, when a light flashed between his eyebrows, there was another drop of golden blood, surrounded by obscure golden translucent symbols, that shot out and merged into the jade piece in his hand. Suddenly, the golden light on the jade piece soared and disappeared after a while. At the same time, the jade piece returned to its original appearance. The only difference was that there was an additional mark of golden blood on the jade piece. At the same time, the jade piece no longer gave off an ordinary feeling. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura. This aura gave people the feeling that there was an ancient ferocious beast sealed within it. Once it erupted, it could break mountains and even destroy the heavens and earth. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence. Just as Duan Lingtian was stunned by the scene in front of him, a cry of surprise rang in his ears. This voice belonged to one of the 5 divine elements in Duan Lingtian's little world, the world-cleansing divine water. Supreme Powerhouse Spiritual Blood Essence? Duan Lingtian was puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of this term. He knew what blood essence was, but what was this spiritual blood essence? Chapter 44-43. This was Duan Lingtian's first time hearing about the spiritual blood essence. For this reason, he had no idea what it was. However, when he heard the world-cleansing divine water's exclamation, he realized the spiritual blood essence was not an ordinary item. Of course, just by listening to the words of Situ Lei, the inherited heaven's sword, it was enough to show that the essence blood was not an ordinary thing. After all, Situ Lei had said it could save his life at a critical moment. The spiritual blood essence is the blood essence of a supreme powerhouse. You know what a normal blood essence is. It's very precious to humans and other living beings. As for the spiritual colored blood essence, it is specially refined from the blood essence of an ultimate expert. Although the difficulty of refining it is not very high and it does not affect one's cultivation, it still requires a very long time. The world-cleansing divine water's voice rang in Duan Lingtian's ears again. It said that it takes a supreme powerhouse more than 10,000 years to refine a drop of spiritual blood essence. More than 10,000 years. Duan Lingtian was shocked when he heard the world-cleansing divine water's words. Although supreme powerhouses were powerful and lived for a long time, they could easily live for hundreds of thousands of years or even hundreds of thousands of years. However, even a supreme powerhouse who had lived for hundreds of thousands of years could only refine a few dozen drops of spiritual blood essence in his lifetime. However, Situ Lei, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had given him a drop of spiritual blood essence. Sister Water, what's the use of this spiritual blood essence? Duan Lingtian could not help but ask. Earlier, Situ Lei, the heaven-cleansing divine sword, had clearly said the spiritual blood essence could save his life at a critical moment. Although Duan Lingtian was reluctant to accept it, he could not help but feel a little moved. At most, he would owe Situ Lei a favor and repay him in the future. Currently, Duanling Tian might not have any use for him, but if he became an invincible higher godly venerable one day, Duanling Tian might need his help. When the time came, he would return the favor. As Duanling Tian waited expectantly, the world-cleansing divine water said, "You can summon the Supreme Powerhouse's spirit blood essence after you use your divine energy and the law of space to evaporate it. You can use the spirit blood essence as a portal for the Supreme Powerhouse. It can allow the Supreme Powerhouse to appear at the scene directly." Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duanling Tian's eyes narrowed, and his breathing quickened. What does this mean? This meant that he could call out a powerhouse at any time. Moreover, he wasn't the weakest among the strongest. Of course, there are also restrictions. The world-cleansing divine water continued to say, if you accept his blood essence, you'll be able to summon him anywhere in the outer world. However, he won't be able to appear in the secret realms where supreme experts can't enter. In addition, there's no way to make him appear in any of the realms. Unless he's in the same realm as you. Upon hearing the world-cleansing divine water's words, Duanling Tian could not help but ask, Sister Water, do you mean I can summon Senior Situ Lei to help me as long as it's not a place where supreme powerhouses can't enter? Yes. The world-cleansing divine water replied. Duanling Tian, on the other hand, did not reject Situ Lei's gift of the inherited heaven sword after he found out what the soul-bearing blood essence meant. Senior. Duanling Tian's expression was solemn as he said, the soul force blood essence you gave me is indeed a life-saving treasure. So I won't refuse. However, if I don't need your help, I'll return it to you when I no longer need your help. And before that, if I use this spirit essence blood and ask for Senior's help, then I will owe Senior another favor. When he spoke up to this point, Duanling Tian saw Situ Lei seem to want to say something, so he spoke first. Senior, you can take this as a condition for me to accept your spiritualist blood essence. If you're not willing to do this, I really don't dare to accept your spirit blood essence. Duanling Tian's persistence caused Situ Lei to not say anything more, but the gaze he looked at Duanling Tian with was filled with even more praise. Little friend Li Feng, your innate talent is outstanding. After today's farewell, I believe your strength will definitely improve the next time we meet. However, I still advise you not to rush to become an ultimate powerhouse if you have the chance to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If you become an ultimate god, your strength will be improved by leaps and bounds. However, if you don't comprehend the law to the perfection realm before that, it'll be difficult to comprehend the law to the perfection realm after becoming an ultimate god. At least, in the history of the outer realm and even the myriad worlds, I've never heard of anyone who only comprehended the law to the perfection realm after stepping into the ultimate god realm. In the outer realm and the 10,000 worlds, as long as an ultimate master becomes an ultimate master, they'll be considered a world master. Even if they're not, they're close. Their strength is not comparable to an ordinary ultimate god. Even if it's me, I'm far from an ultimate god who becomes an ultimate god. Situ Lei paused for a moment before continuing. Of course, once you become an ultimate god, it'll be more difficult to become an ultimate god. This is also a publicly acknowledged fact. I don't know why it's difficult. After all, I'm not an invincible higher ultimate god before I become an ultimate god. However, since everyone says it's difficult, it should be very difficult. I've lived for more than 200,000 years. In these 200,000 years, I know many invincible higher ultimate gods who didn't become ultimate gods until they fell under the 1,000-year heavenly tribulation. As for those people before they became unrivaled high-level supreme gods, they were all people who could have become extremely strong experts, but they didn't. If you don't become an invincible higher ultimate god, it's easy to become an ultimate god. However, once you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it'll be extremely difficult to become an ultimate god. In the 200,000 years I've lived, the number of people I know who successfully became an ultimate god from an invincible higher ultimate god can be counted on one hand. You should be able to understand what I'm saying, right? If it were an ordinary person, I'd definitely advise him to become an ultimate god directly so that he can live longer. Once he becomes an invincible higher ultimate god, he may not have the chance to become an ultimate god in the future. However, you're different. You've achieved this before you're even 10,000 years old. I think if you become an invincible higher ultimate god, it should be easier for you to become an ultimate god than most invincible higher ultimate gods. It had to be said that this was the first time Duanling Tian had heard Situ Lei's words. Was it difficult for an invincible higher ultimate god to become an ultimate god? However, It was easy for these invincible higher ultimate gods to become ultimate gods before they became invincible higher ultimate gods? Perhaps. This is another reason why there are so few invincible higher ultimate gods. Not every higher ultimate god wants to become an invincible higher ultimate god. If they can become an ultimate god, they'll directly choose to become an ultimate god so that they can live longer. Once they become an invincible higher ultimate god but can't become an ultimate god, these people will definitely not live as long as the former. After all, before becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 1,000 years. After becoming an ultimate god, the heavenly tribulation comes once every 10,000 years. It had to be said that after learning this from Situ Lei, Duan Lingtian's heart, which originally wanted to chase after an invincible higher ultimate god, was slightly shaken. With his attainments in sword principle, even if his power of law did not reach the perfection stage, after becoming an ultimate god and consolidating his strength might not be weaker than Situ Lei. He might even be stronger. Once he chased after an invincible higher ultimate god, he might not be able to become an ultimate god. However, once he became an ultimate god with the body of an invincible higher ultimate god, he could directly become a universe master. It was said that there were only a few dozen ultimate gods in the 10,000 worlds in the outer realm who were universe masters. This showed how difficult it was to become a universe master. Forget it. Senior Situ Lei is right. I'm not even 10,000 years old, and I already have such strength. If I really become an invincible higher ultimate god, I might have a chance to become an ultimate god. For me, the most important thing now is to save Kerr. Being an invincible higher ultimate god is more than enough to save Kerr. As long as he became an invincible higher ultimate god, he could choose to serve under a universe master. This way, he could ask a universe master to help his wife, Kerr, get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qingyan had placed on her. If he directly became an ultimate god, he might not be able to get rid of the soul shackles that Yun Qingyan had placed on Kerr. He might not even be able to ask a universe master to help him. In the eyes of a universe master, an ordinary ultimate god was not worth as much as an invincible higher ultimate god. This was because they could do what an ordinary ultimate god could do, but they might not be able to do what an invincible higher ultimate god could do. As he thought of this, Duan Lingtian hesitated for a while before looking at Situ Lei and asking, "Senior, do you know about the Ghost Clan?" Ghost Clan. Situ Lei was stunned for a moment before he nodded. "I've heard of this clan. It seems to be a clan from one of the realms in the myriad worlds. This clan specializes in the soul shackles way." Based on Situ Lei's reaction, it was obvious that his understanding of the Ghost Clan was based on hearsay. "Senior, it's said that there are ultimate gods in the Ghost Clan as well. Generally, soul shackles that are placed by the Ghost Clan can be easily removed by someone with a higher cultivation base. If it's a soul shackles placed by an ultimate god in the Ghost Clan, ordinary ultimate gods won't be able to remove it. However, if it's a universe master, will they be able to remove it?" After he finished asking, Duan Lingtian looked at Situ Lei with a gaze that was filled with anticipation. He urgently needed to know this. Chapter 44-44. Normally, it should be possible. After listening to Duan Lingtian's words, Situ Lei pondered for a moment before he said loudly, "Although universe venerables are also called supreme powerhouses like us, the strength of a universe venerables is a qualitative transformation compared to other supreme powerhouses. The power of a universe master is quite different from that of an ordinary ultimate master." That's right. In terms of the level of the soul, it should also be quite different. The reason why Situ Lei said probably was because he had never come into contact with a universe master before. His understanding of universe masters was based on hearsay. Of course, these are all my speculations. After all, I am not capable of coming into contact with a universe master yet. Speaking of this, Situ Lei looked at Duan Lingtian again and said, "However, I speculate that if a universe master were to break the soul imprisonment of an ordinary supremacy from the Nightmare Soul Clan, it should not be a problem. Moreover, even if an ordinary universe master is unable to break the soul imprisonment, a universe master who is skilled in the way of the soul should be able to do it." If what Situ Lei said was true, Duan Lingtian only felt a little hope. However, the last sentence made Duan Lingtian's eyes light up. A universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul. That was right. A universe master might not be able to save Kerr, but a universe master who was skilled in the way of the soul would definitely be able to do it. "My friend Li Feng, why are you suddenly asking this?" Has someone around you been imprisoned by the Nightmare Soul Clan? Even the Supremes behind you can't break the soul imprisonment? Situ Lei asked doubtfully. At this moment, he could also see Duan Ling Tian's excitement. Yes. Duan Ling Tian nodded. Then, he thought of the ancestor of the Xia clan in the world of divine remains who couldn't do anything about Ker's soul imprisonment. He let out a long sigh and said, "Ordinary experts can't do anything." Situ Lei was not surprised by Duan Ling Tian's words. After all, it was impossible for an ordinary supreme powerhouse to break free from the soul shackles cast by a supreme powerhouse from the Spectre clan. Of course, at this moment, Situ Lei also confirmed one thing, that was, there was no universe master behind the young man named Li Feng. He couldn't help but feel a little shocked by this. This was because when he first found out that the other party had such achievements before the age of 10,000, he subconsciously guessed that there should be a universe master behind the other party. In his opinion, only a universe master could possibly cultivate such a monstrous genius in such a short period of time. Now, when he realized that there was no universe master behind the person in front of him, he couldn't help but feel inexplicably shocked. Without the help of a universe master, one could imagine how difficult it was to get to this point. This little friend Li Feng, as long as he can grow up smoothly in the future, he will definitely be a famous figure in the outer realm and even the 10,000 world. Situ Lei thought to himself. After asking Situ Lei about the Nightmare Soul Clan, Duan Ling Tian didn't chat with him anymore. After bidding farewell to Situ Lei, he flew toward the residence that the Wang clan had arranged for him. Wang Luoyu was still there. Situ Lei was also preparing to leave the Wang clan. Before they parted, he said that he would go and say goodbye to the Wang clan leader before leaving. He also asked Duan Ling Tian to let the Wang clan leader, Wang Kuei, look for him if he needed anything in the future. As long as it was within his power, he would not refuse. Obviously, in these 3 years, Situ Lei had benefited a lot from Duan Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian was extremely clear in his heart that after this parting, it would probably be difficult for him to meet Situ Lei again in the future. Even if there really was a chance, it would most likely be when he used up the spirit accumulation blood essence that Situ Lei gave him. Once he used up the spiritual blood essence, he would owe Situ Lei a big favor and would probably take the initiative to look for him in the future. Elder brother Duan. Wang Luoyu had waited 3 whole years for Duan Ling Tian to return. Sorry to keep you waiting. Duan Ling Tian smiled. Get ready. We will leave tomorrow. Duan Ling Tian did not intend to stay in the Wang clan for long. The sooner he sent Wang Luoyu away, the sooner he would fulfill his promise to Wang Yiyuan. Elder brother Duan. At this moment, Wang Luoyu was somewhat hesitant to speak. Only after a while did she muster up the courage to say, with your current status in the Wang family, even if you leave alone, the Wang family will definitely not allow me to remarry. Duan Ling Tian was stunned when he heard Wang Luoyu's words. Then, he thought about it and understood. In these 3 years, he had contributed to the Wang clan and further strengthened the relationship between the Wang clan and the inherited Heaven Sword, Situ Lei. Under such circumstances, how could the Wang clan treat Wang Luoyu unfairly? After all, in the eyes of the Wang clan, Wang Luoyu was Li Feng's wife. That's right. Duan Ling Tian nodded. If he was not sure if the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would change after he left. Now, he was certain that the Wang clan's attitude toward Wang Luoyu would not change because of his departure. Firstly, the Wang clan was indebted to him for sharing Sword Dao with Situ Lei. Secondly, the Wang family would also consider his potential, and the powerful forces outside the heavenly sand realm that might be behind him. Therefore, even if he left the Wang clan for thousands of years, the Wang clan would definitely not treat Wang Luoyu unfairly. Have you thought it through? Duan Ling Tian asked Wang Luoyu again. Yes. Wang Luoyu nodded. The Wang clan is where I grew up. I've never been to any place other than Lanshao City. If I can stay, I don't want to leave. Elder brother Duan, my brother Wang Yiyuan asked you to take me away because he didn't want my fate to be manipulated by the Wang clan. Now, because of you, the Wang clan can no longer manipulate my fate. At the very least, I don't have to worry about the Wang clan manipulating me before I die in the heavenly tribulation. So, even if you don't take me away, you fulfilled your promise to my brother. All of this is my own choice. After Wang Luoyu finished speaking, Duan Ling Tian pondered for a moment before he spoke again. There's a problem that you have to consider. If you continue to stay in the Wang clan, it'll be difficult for you to find another marriage in the future. If you take the initiative to seek one, I'm afraid the Wang clan won't allow it. Hearing Duan Lingtian's words, Wang Luoyu smiled sweetly. Elder brother Duan, I don't plan to seek any marriage in this life. It's quite good to be alone. Duan Lingtian sighed when he heard this. Think about it again. I'll give you 3 days. After 3 days, either you leave with me, or I leave on my own. I think your brother Wang Yiyuan definitely wants you to find your own happiness in the future. If you can't stay in the Wang clan, you'll regain the right to pursue your own happiness after leaving the Wang clan. If Wang Luoyu stayed in the Wang clan, she would definitely be branded as Li Feng's wife. The Wang clan would not allow outsiders to taint the wife of their son-in-law, Li Feng. To them, the powerful background behind Li Feng might be somewhat illusory. However, the relationship between Li Feng and the inherited heaven sword, Situ Lei, was very real. No one can understand Situ Lei's gratitude better than the Wang family. Seeing Duan Lingtian turn and leave, leaving her alone in the empty room, Wang Luoyu heaved a long sigh. Elder brother Duan, after meeting you, I realize that there's such a perfect young talent in the world. With you as a comparison, I'm afraid it'll be impossible for me to find someone I like in this life. If that's the case, I might as well spend the rest of my life alone. Of course, Duan Lingtian could not hear Wang Luoyu's words. 3 days later, Duan Lingtian left the Wang clan alone. At the entrance of the Wang clan's patriarch, Wang Kuei, the Wang clan supreme elder, Wang Jingrao, and Wang Luoyu sent Duan Lingtian off. Clan leader. Grand elder. I have urgent matters to attend to and need to leave for a while. Please take care of Luoyu. Even though he knew that Wang Kuei and Wang Jingrao would look for Wang Luoyu even if he did not say anything, Duan Lingtian still specifically instructed them. Don't worry, brother Li Feng. Wang Kuei laughed heartily. Later, I'll announce to the entire Wang clan and the outside world that I, Wang Kuei, recognize Luoyu as my sister, and Grand Elder will also recognize Luoyu as his goddaughter. From now on, she'll be the princess of the Wang clan. Wang Jingrao smiled and nodded. Don't worry. I promise you, as long as the Wang clan is not destroyed, Luoyu will not lose a single hair. Duan. Brother Feng. As for Wang Luoyu, she immediately changed her words. 2 streams of tears fell from her eyes, and her face was filled with reluctance. Although they were not husband and wife, she could not help but feel sad and reluctant when she thought about how she was treated in the Wang clan because of this person in front of her. I'll be back as soon as possible. Duan Lingtian smiled lightly before bidding farewell to Wang Kuei and Wang Jingrao. Then, he flew away with the wind, leaving the Wang clan and Lanshao city as well. The 3 members of the Wang clan only regained their senses after Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared from their sight. The moment Duan Lingtian left Lan Xiaocheng. In a corner of Lan Xiaocheng, a figure also rose into the air and followed from afar. Based on the current situation, there shouldn't be any strong people hiding around Li Feng to protect him in the dark. Unless it's a strong person hiding in the dark, which is why I can't discover him. Let's follow him and take a look. The person who followed Duan Lingtian from afar was completely covered in a loose black robe, and it was impossible to see his appearance and figure clearly. However, as his figure moved, it was as if a green saber light flashed. In the blink of an eye, his saber had traveled thousands of miles, sweeping across the land. Chapter 44-45. After all, Tan Xiaoting is also a high-ranking god, and it is the kind of high-ranking that is close to the invincible high-ranking gods. Naturally, he knows that at their level of cultivation, many things have to be considered in the 1,000-year tribulation. Like this time, if he hadn't been instructed by anyone, he wanted to kill the person in front of him, and it would be impossible to let him go. If you are really open-minded, it's okay. If you are not so open-minded, in order not to trigger the risk of the 1,000-year-old calamity of the heart demon, you will inevitably choose to kill him to avoid future troubles. Fortunately, I was ordered to shoot. Thinking of this while he was relieved, Tan Xiaoting thought of Meng Yuzheng of the Meng family in Kanglan City, and couldn't help shaking his head again and again for a while. He knows that this one is going to be out of luck this time. Don't blame me. If you blame it, blame you for hitting him with your idea. You have harmed me, and you have also harmed yourself. Fortunately, I got my life back. And you, I'm afraid that you will die without life. After murmured in his heart, Tan Xiaoting was only lucky. Although in Tan Xiaoteng's magical spacecraft, Duan Lingtian still devoted himself to the practice, and didn't care what little actions Tan Xiaoting would make. It's just because, Now Tan Xueqi is Tan Xueqi, who has signed a contract with him for the master and servant of the sky blood oath. He can feel any dissatisfaction with him at the first moment. Extinct. Therefore, he doesn't have to worry about Tan Xiateng's disagreement. At least, before Tan Xiateng's 1,000-year tribulation, Tan Xueqi is unlikely to be alienated. At this time, Tan Xueqi had no problem with his loyalty, even the newly promoted Meng family. Although it was Tan Xueqi who was temporarily chasing after others, he really wanted Tan Xueqi to choose. Tan Xueqi also had to choose him. Although the strongest are strong, they are not as restrictive as the Heavenly Sky Blood Oath Master and Servant contract. Kanglan City. Meng family. Since returning from Langxiaking last time, Meng Yujing has been depressed and brooding about all the things he had been in Langxiaking's Wang family in the past. That cheap son-in-law of the Wang family not only embarrassed him, but even embarrassed him in the presence of so many people in the Heavenly Sand Realm. Moreover, even the strong ancestor of their Meng family, the ancestor of their line, also reprimanded him in public for the sake of each other. This made him who hated Li Feng into his bones. Hatred, even more hatred. It's been 3 years. Then Li Feng. Is it possible that he hasn't left Wang's house or Lan Xiaocheng? In the past 3 years, Meng Yujing can't remember how many times he has stood in the sky above the Meng family mansion like he is now, looking in the direction of Lan Xiaocheng and talking to himself. Of course, he knew that his guess was correct in all likelihood. If Li Feng leaves Lan Xiaocheng, there is a strong shelter around him, and there is no chance to start. Then Tan Xueqi will come back and tell me. Tan Xueqi did not come back, indicating that Li Feng did not leave Lan Xiaocheng. Meng Yujing secretly said. As usual, after talking to himself, Meng Yujing was ready to go back to his room to practice. Of course, in the past 3 years, although he hadn't stopped practicing, the effect was not very good. The young man named Li Feng appeared in his mind more than once inexplicably, as if constantly taunting him, saying that he was not as good as Li Feng, could not marry Wang Luoyu, and was despised by the Wang family. Even then the strongest ancestor of the Meng family is not on his side. He felt that he had not waited for the arrival of the 1,000-year tribulation before he was born with a heart demon. He had restrained, but found it was useless at all. You know, it was the first time he suffered such a loss since he was a child, and it was still such a shameful loss. In his eyes, Li Feng is no different from his father-killing enemy. Then if Li Feng doesn't die, the next millennium catastrophe, I'm afraid I will be injured by the calamity of the heart demon. Meng Yujing secretly said. Originally, he would not have any pressure after the next millennium calamity, and he might not even have a slight injury. But now, he has no certainty to survive the heart devil calamity in that millennium calamity. Fortunately, the heart devil calamity he is facing now in the 1,000-year tribulation has not yet reached the point of life-threatening. If Li Feng does not die, I am afraid that it will not take 10,000 years. After a few thousand years, the heart demon calamity of the 1,000 years will be able to kill him. Master Meng Yujing. Just when Meng Yujing was about to fail back, he received a subpoena, and the person who passed it to him was the one he had been waiting for 3 years. Qingyan Sword King. Tan Xueqi. It was also the strong ancestor of their Meng family who followed them, and because of his ancestor, the other party would him all the way to Lanshao City last time. If it is normal, without the ancestor's instructions, the other party would not even bother to pay attention to him. On this point, he is still very self-aware. It was this time that he let the opponent stay in Lan Xiaocheng and waited for the opportunity to kill that Li Feng, because he took out the fire law of the strongest godhead given by the ancestor. Otherwise, how could the other party offer him to drive him to kill? Uncle Tan. Meng Yujing responded with excitement to Tan Xiateng's call. You have killed that Li Feng? Master Meng Yujing, if you want to know, please wait for me thousands of miles south of the city. Tan Xiateng's call came to Meng Yuzheng's ears again, and he didn't know the result of this time. When I get there, I will give you the recorded floating shadow image. And you, the law of fire is strongest. The godhead lent it to me. Although you made the blood oath in the sky, as long as I do what you require, I will definitely lend me the godhead of the strongest. But in Lan Xiaocheng, I am worried that you will give me the godhead of the strongest person. The nobleman will react and intervene to obstruct. At that time, the strongest person's godhead may be taken back by the nobleman. Tan Xueqi said. Hearing Tan Xiateng's concerns, Meng Yujing didn't doubt anything. Uncle Tan, I can understand your concerns. 1,000 miles to the south, isn't it? I will pass now. The current Meng Yuzheng desperately wants to obtain the floating mirror image of Tan Xiaoting killing Li Feng, because only in this way can he completely get rid of his heart demon. If it was only Tan Xiaotang's dictation, even if the flower was spoken, he would feel credible, but he would have gaps because of the lack of conclusive evidence. He must personally see the mirror image of Li Feng being killed. This is not only for the purpose of eliminating the demons, but also for the pleasure of seeing the scene of Li Feng's fall. Li Feng, you can't beat me after all. Meng Yuzheng, who was planning to fail back, rose again from the sky, left Meng's house, left Kanglan City, and headed towards the south. His goal is the place agreed with Tan Xiaoting thousands of miles away. In his opinion, Wanli is not far away. At this distance, even if he doesn't bring people, there is no danger. Now, within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles in Kanglan City, I am afraid that few people do not know him, Meng Yuzheng, the first person in the younger generation of the Meng family in Kanglan City. Those people, even if they are stronger than him, dare not provoke him. From beginning to end, Meng Yuzheng never thought that Tan Xiaoting would cheat him and harm him. After all, if Tan Xiaoting really wanted to harm him, he would leave Kanglan City with him in the past and head to Lanshao City. There would be more opportunities, and there would be no need to wait until now. Even after the other party knew that he had the godhead of the strongest in his hand, the other party was able to seize his opportunity to leave Lan Xiaocheng and return to Kanglan City. At that time, he was not back to Kanglan City with their Meng family's strongest ancestor, but Kanglan City with people from other families in Kanglan City. Tan Xiaoting really wanted to be against him at that time and had a 100% chance to succeed. Because of this, Meng Yuzheng never doubted Tan Xiaoting from beginning to end. To the south of Kanglan City, thousands of miles away. Here is a vast rolling hills. The hills are bare, yellow sand is full of the sky. No green plants can be seen, as if this is an absolute forbidden area for plant life. And above the rolling hills, a figure was suspended in the void, sitting there cross-legged. Around his body, a faint cyan flame was beating, sometimes spreading out, sometimes condensing into a knife. This is a middle-aged man, sitting cross-legged in the void, closing his eyes and resting. The things outside his body, in addition to the accident of the ring in his hand, there is also a thick-looking token hanging from his waist. And if there is an artifact master who is good at refining tools here, you can definitely see that this token is a space artifact out of 10. If there is a strong person who is good at the law of space here, you can also sense the looming spatial fluctuations on this token. Master. This middle-aged man is no one else, but the high-ranking god, the Qingyan Sword King Tan Xiaoting, who is well known in the Tiansha realm. At this moment, Tan Xiaotang's voice was condensed and passed into the token. The divine consciousness that I spread has already sensed that Meng Yuzheng is coming. He came alone. He didn't doubt anything. He didn't doubt anything, let alone anything. If I really want to be disadvantageous to him, before he returned to Kanglan City 3 years ago, there were opportunities to be disadvantageous to him. Tan Xiaoting said, plus in this area, he doesn't worry that someone will trouble him, and it will not be good for him. Therefore 9 out of 10 he came alone. Also, I think he is in a hurry. Obviously he wants to get the floating shadow mirror of you that I made up for killing you, Master Soon. Tan Xiaotang's voice passed into the token, passed into the space inside the token, which was the space artifact, and reached Duan Lingshan's ears. In fact, it would be more convenient for Duan Ling Tian to hide into Tan Xiaotang's small world. However, the small world in a person's body is open to those who are weaker than oneself. If it is open to those who are stronger than oneself, it is likely to be passive. Even Tan Xiaoting will definitely have some worries and fears. Therefore, Duan Ling Tian is not too difficult for him. Even if he really wants to hide in Tan Xiaotang's small world, the other party cannot refuse. After all, there is a contract between the master and servant of the Sky Blood Oath. Just when Duan Ling Tian faintly defeated Tan Xiaoting. Outside, a pleasantly surprised voice came from a distance at the right time. Uncle Tan, after 3 years, you are finally back. The person here is Meng Yuzheng. Meng Yuzheng, who has been waiting for Tan Xiaoting for 3 full years. Master Meng Yuzheng. And Tan Xiaoting also opened his eyes after Meng Yuzheng's arrival, stood up, and showed apologetic expression at the same time. I'm so sorry to let you run so far. However, I am also really worried. Before Tan Xiaoting finished speaking, he was interrupted by Meng Yuzheng. Uncle Tan, there is no need to explain, I can understand. Where did you kill the floating mirror image of Li Feng? Show me quickly. Chapter 44-46. Because he never thought that Tan Xueqi would harm him, he didn't care about Tan Xiateng's explanation at all, and he even felt that Tan Xiateng's worries were normal. If it was him, he would also have such concerns. Master Meng Yuzheng. Seeing Meng Yuzheng so desperate to get the floating shadow, the color of guilt on Tan Xiateng's face not only didn't disappear, but it became more intense. For the sake of safety, this transaction will be carried out in my space artifact. How? Of course, if you don't want to, we can go further. The method of the strongest is too strong. Although, Master Meng Yuzheng, you once made the blood oath in the sky, and you will not tell the master of this transaction, but... At this time, before Tan Xueqi finished speaking, Meng Yuzheng thought about what he said. Uncle Tan, I can understand your concerns. It is unnecessary to go farther. I will go directly into your space artifact. The strongest, how powerful, and how many methods are. Even Meng Yuzheng felt that even if his ancestor was already the strongest, he couldn't know how many methods the ancestor had. Therefore, he directly agreed to Tan Xiateng's request. As for going further, no need. He doesn't want to waste time. Now, what he wanted to see most was the floating mirror image of Li Feng being killed by Tan Xueqi. Only by witnessing Li Feng being killed can his demon gradually disappear. Li Feng, just you. Are you worthy to fight with me? At this moment, Meng Yuzheng's heart was full of disdain. Disdain for Duan Lingshan's pseudonym Li Feng. And Tan Xueqi, after receiving Meng Yuzheng's response, also quickly expressed gratitude and said, "Thank you, Master Meng Yuzheng, for understanding. Then next, please ask Master Meng Yuzheng not to resist, and I will send Master Meng Yuzheng you into my space artifact." Bring it on. Meng Yuzheng looked expectant, even a little hastily, wishing to have entered his space artifact with Tan Xueqi now. But the next moment, I saw Tan Xueqi raise his hand, and suddenly a gentle force enveloped Meng Yuzheng, sending Meng Yuzheng, who had no resistance, into his space artifact. At the moment Meng Yuzheng was sent in, Tan Xiateng's eyes flashed. He glanced at the direction of Kanglan City from afar, and then fled away in the direction opposite to Kanglan City at the fastest speed. In the same place, the formation he had previously prepared was also activated, and various complex formations erupted, not only destroying the surrounding barren mountains, but also various power shock spaces, before stopping for a long time. Tan Xueqi did this to remove traces. Even if he can see that there is a problem here, he removes the traces like this. Even if the strongest comes, it is difficult to see or discover who has been here before and what happened. Descendants do not die, and it is difficult for the strongest to trace what happened to the descendants through the power of blood. Meng Yuzheng didn't know what happened outside. The current Meng Yuzheng was sent into Tan Xiateng's space artifact, a spacious space. There is no one in this space. As for this, Meng Yuzheng was not surprised, waiting for Tan Xueqi to follow in. He doesn't worry that Tan Xueqi will be disadvantageous to him, because it doesn't make sense. He could only give Tan Xueqi the godhead of the strongest, and other things were in his self-destruction and taking precepts. Even if Tan Xueqi killed him, he would not be able to get the self-destructing taking precepts. As for the godhead of the strongest, that is what Tan Xueqi borrowed under the Sky Blood Oath. If Tan Xueqi dares to kill him and swallow him, the Sky Blood Oath will not let him go. In Meng Yuzheng's expectation, Tan Xueqi quickly entered the space artifact. Seeing Tan Xueqi, Meng Yuzheng's eyes brightened. "Uncle Tan, what about the projection?" However, Tan Xueqi ignored him, instead just looking at Meng Yuzheng's Najit. This means, it is also obvious. If you want to see the projection, first take out the godhead of the strongest. "Uncle Tan, I made the blood oath in the sky, and it is impossible to go back." While shaking his head, Meng Yuzheng took out the supreme godhead from Najie that his ancestors gave him. The supreme godhead left by the strongest people who are good at the law of fire. In the past, his family's ancestors also relied on this Xeon's godhead and the law of fire to make a rapid progress, laying a very solid foundation for becoming the Xeon in the future. However now, his ancestors do not use this super strong godhead, so temporarily put it here to help him understand the law of fire. Tan. And just when Meng Yuzheng wanted to pass the godhead of the strongest in his hand to Tan Xueqi, the sudden change occurred. Call out. A crisp sword whistling sound was short-lived. Then a light rose. Tan Xueqi held the hand of the strongest godhead. His entire arm left his body and fell downward. Who? While Meng Yuzheng's face changed drastically, he did not find the person with his hand, and immediately urged his divine power to roll toward the godhead of the strongest in his hand with the broken arm. As long as the divine power touches the godhead, he can take the godhead back into his ring within a single thought. However, although his speed is already fast, some people are faster than him. Whoosh! A divine power, the next step touched the godhead of the Xeon, and then the godhead of the Xeon disappeared, obviously by the master of the divine power into his receiving ring. From beginning to end, Tan Xueqi stood in the distance, motionless, without any divine power fluctuations, just silently watching everything in front of him. He did not participate. The godhead of the strongest is not seized by him. The sky blood oath could not find him. Ka. When Meng Yuzheng's face was green and his eyes were splitting, he glanced at Tan Xueqi, and then looked around for him. A figure also appeared in front of Tan Xueqi like a ghost. Dressed in purple clothes, with a handsome face, he looked at Meng Yuzheng calmly. And when he saw this person, Meng Yuzheng's face changed drastically. Why you? Meng Yuzheng suddenly let out an exclamation. His face and eyes were full of incredible color, and he couldn't believe that he would see a living opponent here. At this moment, his brain even seemed to be stirred into a paste, with 10,000 why he wanted to ask. Why does Li Feng appear here? Why did Li Feng take away his godhead at this time? Didn't he let Tan Xueqi kill Li Feng? Why is Li Feng lurking here and taking action at this time? After a period of confusion in his mind, Meng Yuzheng quickly calmed down, and stared at Tan Xueqi behind Duanling Tian with red eyes. Tan Xueqi, you unexpectedly found this Li Feng to join forces and set the stage to take me the most powerful god. You don't think, if you do this, the sky blood oath won't find you on your body, right? Speaking of later, Meng Yuzheng looked fierce, as if turning into a beast, wishing to eat Tan Xueqi in one bite. Chapter 44-47. The current Meng Yuzheng is a bit furious. Although, he doesn't think Tan Xueqi can escape the punishment of the sky blood oath. However, Li Feng is not restricted. Even if Tan Xueqi is dead, Li Feng, who has obtained the godhead of the strong, can still continue to have the godhead of the strong, without any restriction, because he and Tan Xueqi made each other's oath of blood in the sky. Irrelevant. Li Feng. In a hurry, Meng Yuzheng looked at Li Feng, and said with a gloomy expression, "If you are conscious, quickly hand over the strongest person. In this way, I might be able to give you a happy one." Almost at the same time, Meng Yuzheng said to Tan Xueqi again through a voice transmission, "Tan Xueqi, you will not escape the punishment of the sky blood oath if you do this. You killed this Li Feng, and I will not blame you for you." Of course, if Tan Xueqi killed Li Feng, he would still be punished by the sky blood oath. He was beyond his control. In his opinion, as long as Li Feng died, even if the power of the strongest person was lost, it was worth it. His ancestor is now promoted to become the strongest, and it is definitely not a difficult task to get him a godhead of the law of fire, the strongest. Nowadays, even if Meng Yuzheng is unwilling to admit it, he still has to admit that the strongest godhood has entered Li Feng's acceptance, and it is difficult to return to his hands. Meng Yuzheng, do you think it was I who found the young master and asked him to help me pit the power of the strongest in your hands? Hearing Meng Yuzheng's voice transmission, Tan Xueqi suddenly laughed, as if Meng Yuzheng's words were a big joke. Master. Hearing Tan Xueqing's address to Duanling Tian, Meng Yuzheng's face changed slightly, and an ominous premonition rose in his heart. Meng Yuzheng. At this time, Duanling Tian also spoke, looking at Meng Yuzheng with teasing expression. This is the most powerful god, but Tan Xueqi asked me to help him get out of your hand. This thing is what I think. Yes, it has nothing to do with him. Or, the whole thing am leading the way, he is completely passive. In this case, it is impossible for him to fall on the punishment for the blood oath you made earlier. Duan Lingshan's mouth suddenly changed Meng Yuzheng's complexion, showing an incredible look, then gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice, Li Feng, do you think you say this, I will believe it? What strength do you have? Can you dominate the matter of taking my godhead as the strongest? Now, even though he said so, Meng Yuzheng already had an ominous premonition in his heart, and guessed that it was the mysterious forces behind Li Feng who had acted. Li Feng was rescued from Tan Xueqing's men, and then Li Feng threatened Tan Xueqing came over to trouble him. Meng Yuzheng. Tan Xueqing glanced at Meng Yuzheng indifferently. Whether you believe it or not, this is all true. I do as you wish. After the young master leaves Wang's house and Lan Xiaocheng, I will hunt him down. Hearing Tan Xueqing said this, Meng Yuzheng couldn't help yelling, Tan Xueqing, you are an idiot. Didn't you say that you will only attack him if you confirm that there is no strong protector around him? Now, Meng Yuzheng guessed that it must be when Tan Xiuting took action against Li Feng. Li Feng had a stronger shelter around him than Tan Xiuting. This was the only way for Tan Xiuting to come home. And under Li Feng's intimidation, put him in the army. In his opinion, this is Tan Xiaoteng's idiot, stupid, and he will rashly attack Li Feng when he is not sure that Li Feng has strong protection by his side. Hey! Faced with Meng Yuzheng's yelling curse, Tan Xiuting snorted. Meng Yuzheng, you were not born when Tan Xiuting was in the Sand Realm. I, Tan Xiuting, can live with this body of cultivation. Do you think it will be as stupid as you think? Naturally, I will attack the young master after confirming that there is no strong protector by his side. Speaking of this, Tan Xiuting glanced at Duan Lingtian with respect, and said with complicated eyes. It's just that, I never expected that the strength of the young master has reached the point where it is close to the invincible high-ranking god. Less than long live. Close to the existence of an invincible high-ranking god. Easily defeat me. If it were not for the mercy of the young master, I would not be alive now. Every word of Tan Xiuting now fell into Meng Yuzheng's ears, making Meng Yuzheng's heart tremble. Less than long live. Close to the invincible high-ranking deity? Tan Xiuting. Meng Yuzheng stared at Tan Xiuting with a face full of disbelief. Do you think if you say these things, I will believe it? A person who is less than long live can have the strength close to the invincible high-ranking god? Not to mention looking at the Tiansha realm, it is looking at the entire outside world, or even the 10,000 realms. I have never heard of anyone who can have the strength close to the invincible high-ranking at the age of less than long live. The current Meng Yuzheng, in fact, has some faith deep in his heart. Because Tan Xiuting and Li Feng have obviously won, at this time, there is no need to deceive him. Even, this answer is consistent with the previous Lan Xiaocheng Wang family's attitude. If Li Feng is so enchanting, Lan Xiaocheng Wang's family chooses Li Feng instead of him, it can be explained. It's just that he doesn't want to admit that he is so much worse than a peer of the same age. At this moment, if Duan Lingtian knew Meng Yuzheng's thoughts, he would definitely be tempted to tell him. In fact, Duan Lingtian is now not only long live, but even less than 2,000 years old. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. Tan Xiuting glanced at Meng Yuzheng lightly. Meng Yuzheng, offending the young master is the most stupid thing you have done in your life. For a woman, you ruined yourself. Tan Xiuting, Li Feng, you better let me go. Otherwise, I will now sacrifice the jade slip of the deity that my ancestor gave me, and summon the ancestor out. Meng Yuzheng stared with a pair of eyes, his face threatening Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting with a hideous face. When he heard this, Duan Lingtian just smiled faintly. And Tan Xiuting laughed out loud again. Meng Yuzheng, not to mention that I have been with your Meng family a while ago. Just because I was not with him, you think I would never think that he was promoted? It didn't take long for the strongest to spend blood to make his own projection jade slip. The projected jade slip of the deity also needs to be made with the blood of the strongest. Although the price paid is far less than the essence of aura, it is not small. In the old days when Duan Lingtian was still against the realm of God, in that face battlefield, he had seen several people, and even the projection of the strongest deity's jade slip, summoned the projection of the strongest deity. There are more people, so he escaped in his hands. So, he also had many worries about the projection of the jade slip of the Xian's deity. This time when he came to Kanglan City, he had also communicated with Tan Xiuting about it. It is also because Tan Xiuting said that the newly promoted strongest man in the Meng family of Kanglan City could not make the original projection jade slips now, and Meng Yuzheng could not have that thing in his hands, so he should relax. And hearing Tan Xiaoteng's words, Meng Yuzheng's last life-saving straw was also cut off, and his mentality completely collapsed. Despair spread in his heart, making him almost collapsed. Do not. No. I don't want to die. Chapter 44-48. Tan Xiaoteng's words completely collapsed Meng Yuzheng's mentality. The Xian, although he can consume his own essence and blood to make the projection jade slips of the deity, but the cost to himself is not small. A Xian who has just been promoted is still busy consolidating his cultivation skills, and he also needs to rely on his own essence. Blood, there is no time at all, and it is impossible to spend blood to do that thing. The projected jade slips of the deity of the strongest, only those who are difficult to make progress and are bored at ordinary times will make it, and because they need to consume their own essence and blood, They will not make too much, they will only leave it to themselves. Some descendants or disciples of disciples. With Meng Yuzheng's position in the eyes of Meng Tianfeng, the newly promoted strongest of the Meng family in Kanglan City, if Meng Tianfeng produced his own projected jade slip, he would definitely be the first to give it to Meng Yuzheng. But the problem is, because Meng Tianfeng had just been promoted, it was impossible to make the original projection jade slip. Therefore, Tan Xiateng's words also made Meng Yuzheng's face white as paper, and he was terrified to the extreme. Puff! At the critical moment, Meng Yuzheng knelt down directly in front of Duan Lingtian, constantly kowtow, giving up all his dignity. Master Li Feng, you do not remember the villain, please spare my life. As long as Master Li Feng is willing to spare my life, I can give all the wealth in the ring to Master Li Feng. Meng Yuzheng is really scared now. Panicked to the extreme. Although, he also knew that as a descendant of the strongest, if he died, his ancestor of the strongest could be traced back to Li Feng's body and blood. But now it seems that there must be an extremely powerful force behind Li Feng, perhaps the force that his strong ancestor feared. After all, according to Tan Xueqi, this Li Feng is an existence that is less than long-lived, close to the invincible high-ranking god. Spare you. Duan Lingtian glanced lightly at Meng Yuzheng. If you want me not to kill you, it's not impossible. Then it depends on whether there is something that interests me in you. Now, release the precept and confess to the Lord. Duan Lingtian had no reason to refuse the things delivered to the door, and he did not intend to kill Meng Yuzheng for the time being, only intending to imprison him. He also heard what Jingshi Shenshui said, rashly killing Meng Yuzheng might anger the strongest of the Meng family, and the opponent could trace back to him through blood. According to the words of Jingshi Shenshui, it is best not to kill this Meng Yuzheng personally. At least, it is not suitable to kill this Meng Yuzheng before he can't compete against the strongest of the Meng family. Master Li Feng. Hearing Duan Lingshan's words, Meng Yuzheng took a deep breath and said hesitantly, although, I don't believe you, Master Li Feng. But, can you make the heavenly blood oath? I promise that after taking my precepts, no kill me. Then you'd better take your nuns and die. Duan Lingtian raised his brows, and a sarcastic smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. I really want something from you? After the words fell, Duan Lingtian flickered before disappearing in front of Meng Yuzheng's eyes. And Meng Yuzheng's expression changed drastically in an instant. He never expected that Li Feng was so decisive, and he didn't intend to ask for his things again if he didn't agree with him. In a hurry, Meng Yuzheng gritted his teeth and directly dismissed the confession of the ring, and at the same time threw it out from a distance. Master Li Feng, I have lifted the confession of the ring, and hope to spare my life. However, Meng Yuzheng did not wait for Duan Lingshan's response. I saw that Tan Xueqi raised his hand and directly took Meng Yuzheng's neiji into his hands, and then left, oppressing Meng Yuzheng. And Meng Yuzheng, seeing Tan Xiateng's murderous aura, suddenly looked ugly and threatened. Tan Xueqi, if Master Li Feng committed suicide with me, my ancestor of the Meng family might be a little bit jealous if he takes care of the forces behind him. But if you dare to kill me, the ancestor will never forgive you. For Li Feng, Meng Yuzheng felt fear from the bottom of his heart. But Tan Xueqi, he knows everything, and he doesn't fear the opponent at all, even if the opponent is much stronger than him. Who said I was going to kill you? However, in the face of Meng Yuzheng's threat, Tan Xueqi smiled faintly. I just follow the spirit of the young master, and I have completely destroyed you. When the voice fell, Tan Xueqi shot out like lightning. As for Meng Yuzheng, he was captured by Tan Xueqi at the same time as he was reacting. The terrifying divine power contained cyan flames, which engulfed him like bone gangrene. At the same time, he found that he could no longer control his body, as if he was completely oppressed by that force. Do not. When he noticed that Tan Xiateng's power was constantly expelling and crushing his power, Meng Yuzheng's eyes were splitting, and he let out a desperate cry. Tan Xueqi, you it! Damn you! The celestial pulse in the body was broken and the divine power was lost, so that when Meng Yuzheng was desperate, he was so angry that he passed out and fainted to the ground. Even the vitality has become a lot weaker. Don't kill him yet. At the same time, Duan Lingtian appeared in front of Tan Xueqi again, and glanced at Meng Yuzheng who had passed out on the ground. If he died, then Meng Tianfeng of the Meng family would be a big trouble. Master, he won't die. Tan Xueqi respectfully said, this Meng Yuzheng, although I got along with him not long ago, I can still see that he is a person who is extremely greedy for life and fear of death. Not to mention that he is only a cultivator and abolished, it is his cultivation. He will not want to die if his limbs are broken at the same time he is abolished. Although getting along with Meng Yuzheng not long ago, it is obvious that Tan Xiateng's understanding of Meng Yuzheng is not so deep. Duan Lingtian nodded. This is the best. Find a chance later and let him fend for himself. After the voice fell, Duan Lingtian said again. Next, we will continue on our way to Liangu realm. Yes, master. Tan Xiaoting responded respectfully. On the way to Kanglan City, he learned from his young master that the destination of his young master's trip was the Lonely Realm. To be precise, even the Lonely Realm was just a place for his own young master. The Land of the Way. The young master of my own family intends to go to the 3 holy realms in the central area of the outside world. He had been to the 3 holy realms in the past, and he had been there for a while. And even his strength today was entirely thanks to some of the opportunities he had obtained in the 3 holy realms in the past. If he had stayed in the heavenly sand realm, now, he could not have such strength. Of course, while the 3 holy realms have all kinds of opportunities that cannot be met, they are also crises. In the past, he almost died out several times. After having Tan Xiaoting by his side, Duan Lingtian was also relieved a lot, and he basically stayed in the divine artifact spaceship to practice on the way to Liangu realm. Tan Xiaoting also took the initiative to solve some of the troubles and lockups encountered on the road. He also told Tan Xiaoting, unless it is something that cannot be solved, don't disturb him in his cultivation. In Duan Lingtian, he left Tiansha realm and entered Liangu realm for a period of time. Within Tiansha, the people of the Meng family in Kanglan City finally discovered that the young master Meng Yuzheng of their Meng family had disappeared. If it were before, although Meng Yuzheng had a good status in the Meng family, he was also one of the many direct descendants of the Meng family, and he was more noble in the line of his. However, when Meng Yuzheng's ancestor was promoted to the strongest, he, the descendant most loved by Meng Tianfeng, the newly promoted ancestor of the Meng family, became the highest-ranking person in the younger generation of the Meng family. The person most valued by the ancestors of the strongest is not high in the Meng family? I have searched all around, but I still can't find the whereabouts of Yuzheng's child. When the ancestor leaves the customs, if we can't see Yuzheng, how should we explain to him? In the main hall of the Meng family, a high-level group of the Meng family gathered together, and an old man with a white beard said gloomily, with a worried tone. The last person who met Meng Yuzheng saw that he was leaving to the south of Kanglan City. As for why he left, no one knows. But, I guess what attracted him to leave. There is no one around to follow, and it is impossible to go too far if you want to come to Yuzheng. But there is no news until now. I am afraid it is too bad. Don't scare yourself. Isn't Yuzheng's soul orb still intact? This also shows that he is still alive now. Yeah, as long as you live well. Moreover, the old ancestor is the strongest, and Yuzheng is his direct descendant. If anyone dared to kill Yuzheng, the old ancestors can also trace back through their bloodlines. Who did it to him? Perhaps, the other party did not kill Yuzheng because of this concern. Since I didn't kill Yuzheng, I wanted to seek something. Maybe, it won't be long before news will come. I also think that the other party should be seeking something. Or else, how could he do such a risky thing? You know, he offended not only the Meng family, but also our ancestor of the Meng family. Meng Tianfeng, since returning from Lan Xiaocheng in the past, has been in retreat directly. I don't know anything about the outside world. It wasn't until after he left the customs that he wanted to summon the direct descendant Meng Yuzheng, that he valued most, and then he knew that the other party had been missing for a long time. Yuzheng is missing? Meng Tianfeng's complexion was gloomy and ugly, and then raised his hand, a fire flashed in his hand, and a scar appeared on his palm, and a drop of blood sputtered out of his hand. Then, his eyes were like electricity, and 2 firelights flicked out from between his eyes, and then they melted into a drop of blood floating in the void. The blood boiled, and Meng Tianfeng closed his eyes, frowning and loosening his brows. After more than a dozen breaths he opened his eyes again, but his face was a little ugly. Although people are not dead, they are still full of robbery. Who is it that dares to treat me, the descendants of Meng Tianfeng, like this? Does he really think that Meng Tianfeng is a fool? Chapter 44-49. If you are a powerful person in the realm, it is said that you can use the power of blood to predict some situations that the immediate descendants will encounter if the immediate descendants are not dead. This is what Meng Tianfeng heard from others. Also because of this, He knew that although he was promoted to the strongest, it is almost impossible to know what happened to him without his direct descendants dead. That person probably doesn't want me to find him. Meng Tianfeng's face was gloomy, however. He really thought, if he did this, I couldn't find him? Soon, Meng Tianfeng went to see the contemporary patriarch of the Meng family, and directly ordered the Meng family to join the family to inquire about people who have grievances with Meng Yuzheng. In the beginning, Meng Tianfeng was very confident and felt that he would be able to find the person who did it soon. It's just that, after a while, the feedback from the patriarch of the Meng family made him almost vomiting blood. Only then did he know that the direct descendant Meng Yuzheng, his favorite and optimistic, had provoked so many people outside, and he was a complete dude. Old ancestors, if you only rely on such investigations, there are really too many suspects. The contemporary patriarch of the Meng family, looking at Meng Tianfeng, said with a wry smile. This matter was the first time this ancestor asked him to do it after he became the strongest man. Naturally, he wanted to do it beautifully and properly. However, after a period of inquiries and investigations, he almost vomited blood. He did not expect that Meng Yuzheng, who looked like a predecessor, would offend so many people secretly. Moreover, most of the people he offends are because of the Meng family. They dare not speak. Even, many people want to kill him quickly. Or, Meng Yuzheng's offended people, those who want to kill him, definitely more than 90%. This also made him completely helpless, not knowing where to start. I really want to talk about the suspicion of kidnapping Meng Yuzheng. Everyone who has committed crimes by Meng Yuzheng is suspected. Duan Lingtian didn't know that the disappearance of Meng Yuzheng caused the entire Meng family to jump up. Even, the entire Kanglan city was a sensation. Currently, Duan Lingtian, together with Tan Xiuting, has arrived at the last city in Liangu territory, and further forward, it is the Pingxiong realm, one of the 6 realms in the outer realm that is closest to the 3 holy realms. Liangu territory, in addition to the city where they are now based, Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting also stayed in several cities, mainly to inquire about some things, and to buy some things that Duan Lingtian could use in his practice. Nowadays, the city Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting have arrived is named Guilan City. Outside Guilan City, Duan Lingtian and Tan Xiuting walked slowly into the city gate one after another. This Guilan City is a city with a forbidden air formation. Okay, but they are all the city guards of Guilan City. Guilan City is different from a city generally ruled by a certain family or several families. In this Guilan City, there is no family. There is only one force named Yantian Army. Master, the predecessor of the Yantian Army, is said to be a wandering force. Finally, the leader of the Yantian Army was promoted to the strongest, and this led the Yantian Army into Guilan City, and Kampa was king. Duan Lingshan's ears heard Tan Xiateng's voice. Of course, at first, this city was not called Guilan City. The reason why he was named Guilan City is said to be the leader of the Yantian Army to commemorate his dead wife. Guilan is the name of his dead wife. Speaking of which, the leader of the Yantian Army is also a legend. Although he is not the invincible high-ranking god, he is also close to the top existence of the invincible high-ranking god. Power, expelled the 3 first-class families that originally controlled the city, repelled the 3 strongest with 1 enemy 3. Since then, he fought to be a god, and was recognized by the people in Liangu as one of the strongest people in Liangu. And he, since then, has been based in Guilan City and built Guilan City into a city that completely belongs to their Yantian army. In this Guilan City, no family exists, and all the industries in it belong to Yantian army. The army. As for those in charge of the industry, it is said that they are all relatives and friends of the high-level Yantian army. So, in this Guilan City, don't look at the inconspicuous shop owners. Among them, there may be close relatives of the Yantian army high level. In the current Yantian army, more than one leader is the Xianj. It is said that another deputy leader was also promoted to become the Xian 1,000 years ago. However, this matter was only passed on by outsiders, Yantian army. I didn't say much inside, and I don't know if it is true or not. Perhaps, only by waiting for the deputy leader to take action can we confirm that he is the real Xian. Following Tan Xiateng's words, Duan Lingtian also had a certain understanding of Yantian army, and at the same time was full of curiosity about the city controlled by Yantian army. Entering Guilan City, what appears in front of Duan Lingtian is a clean and tidy avenue, which is different from the bustling and noisy city of ordinary cities. Although this city is also noisy, More people talk with each other. General fear. Seeing this scene, Tan Xueqi said, "It is said that the deceased wife of the leader of the Yantian army was a quiet woman before his death. Therefore, Guilin City also has rules, not to make loud noises. Those who make loud noises will be warned first. If you don't listen to the warning and continue to make noise, you will be expelled from Guilin City." Hearing this, Duan Lingtian suddenly, if so, everything in front of him would be easy to explain. In fact, when he settled in this city, Duan Ling Tiankun's mind was to see if there was anything he needed here. Or rather, it was something that was helpful to him, and even to his relatives and friends in their cultivation. Although he is in a place outside the world and is on the road to saving his wife, he has not forgotten his group of relatives and friends. If he can get something that is helpful to them, it can also save them from making detours. However, after entering Guilin City, although he had been mentally prepared, it still surprised him. In the beginning, I just heard Tan Xueqi say that this city is different from ordinary cities. Now it seems that it is so. Suddenly, a figure greeted Duan Lingshan's eyes, making Duan Lingtian unable to help his color change. I saw that it was a young man with a height of about 1.8 meters. His face was handsome and determined, with a pair of sword eyebrows and heroic spirit. Wearing a blue robe, his long hair dancing in the wind was also blue. The seemingly inconspicuous young man walked through the street in front of him like others, but Duan Lingtian couldn't help but look sideways, and even changed his color. Only because he has seen this person. You can also say, know who this person is. You know me? At the moment when Duan Lingshan's color changed, a ghost-like figure appeared in front of Duan Lingtian, asking slightly surprised. At this moment, Duan Lingtian only felt that a blast of cold air enveloped him. The cold power seemed to be able to easily pass through his body, oppressing his divine power. And Tan Xueqi behind Duan Lingtian was also frightened by the sudden power in front of him. At the same time, he trembled, his pupils contracted, his throat swelled, and a bit of dryness forcibly swallowed a mouthful of saliva, shocked in his heart. Tube, the strongest. Chapter 4450. Tan Xueqi is not weak at first, and he has lived for a long time. In most of his life, he has seen many strongest people. Naturally, from the oppression of the people in front of him, he can see that the other party is the strongest. He was not surprised that the Xian appeared in Guilin City, because many Xians like to blend into the crowd. If he did not show his power, few would be able to tell that he was the Xian. Just now, he had noticed the person in front of him, but he had just glanced at it. He didn't expect that the other person would be a strong one. This strongest person is very strong, far beyond what Meng Tianfeng, the newly promoted strongest person in Kanglin City, can compare. This is also Tan Xiateng's first thought after realizing that the person in front of him is the strongest, and it shocked him inexplicably. When I came to Guilin City, I not only met the Xian as soon as I entered the city gate, but also was a Xian who was stronger than the average Xian. At the same time, Duan Lingtian also looked at the white-clothed youth in front of him with dread. To be precise, it is the King of Cold. That's right. At this moment, the white-clothed young man standing in front of Duan Lingtian was not someone else, but the strongest person Duan Lingtian had seen in Wuyang City in the past. The demon Venerable Chiming Mountain invited the strongest person to destroy Wuyang City. Duan Lingtian is still unforgettable the scene of that day. Qi Ming Yao Zun teamed up with this person to easily crush Wuyang City's 5 strongest men. At that time, Duan Lingtian witnessed the fall of one of Wuyang City's 5 strongest men with his own eyes. The strongest fell, a vision appeared in the sky, and the rain of blood was pouring, shocking. Duan Lingtian vividly remembered that scene so far. Little guy, I have some impressions of you. At the same time, King Han, staring at Duan Lingtian, smiled faintly. I seem to have seen you in Wuyang City. If I remember correctly, you should be in Wuyang City, under the strongest, and escaped Wuyang City smoothly. The only human being. In the Battle of Wuyang City, although King Han and Qi Ming Demon Sovereign were teaming up to deal with the 5 strongest people in Wuyang City, he was also concerned about Duan Lingtian, who showed greatness below. Even at that time, the demon Venerable Qi Ming also found Duan Lingtian and even wanted to kill Duan Lingtian. In the end, it was Han Wang Shizai, who greeted Chiming Demon Venerable, and Chiming Demon Venerable did not attack Duan Lingtian. Of course, these Duan Lingtian didn't know. Therefore, for the Cold King now recognizing himself and remembering that he once appeared in Wuyong City, he was surprised, and said to the Cold King quickly and respectfully, "But I didn't expect that in the past, Wuyong City and his party would not have returned to the Cold King. Eyes. No talent." Hearing Duan Lingshan's words, King Han shook his head. "If you say that you are not talented, I am afraid that no one would dare to say that he is a talented person. Less than long live with your strength, it is rare in the world. You are the most enchanting person with talent I have ever seen in my life." With the words of King Han, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized that King Han was probably staring at him when he was in Wuyong City. Perhaps, the scene of himself fighting the big demon in Chiming Mountain and spared his life was also seen by King Han. After all, when the demons of Chiming Mountain slammed into Wuyong City, King Han didn't show up until after the 5 strongest in Wuyong City appeared. He did not show up under the greeting of the demonic venerable Chiming. Before he appeared, King Han must have been nearby, perhaps observing everything in Wuyong City boringly. Among them, it also includes his shots. Senior King Han praised. Faced with King Han's praise, Duan Lingtian hurriedly said humbly, "The younger generation can achieve this at this age, but it is only because of various karmic associations. If it were not for luck, it would be difficult for the younger generation to have today." Luck. When King Han heard the words, he smiled lightly. "How many people are in the outside world, and even in the 10,000 worlds, but you are so lucky. Young people a little too humble." Duan Lingtian smiled awkwardly when he heard the words. At this moment, he also felt that King Han had removed his icy power, which made him a lot easier. And Tan Xueqi, who was standing behind Duan Lingtian, was also relieved at this time, relieved. It now appears that the strongest in front of us is not that the one who came is bad. No ill will to my master. This is a good thing. King Han. This title sounds familiar? Suddenly, Tan Xueqi came back to his senses, but he felt that the word Han Wang was a bit familiar. After thinking for a while, his pupils shrank again, and his complexion changed. A few years ago when he was still in the Tiansha realm, he heard people say that in Tiansha, they're the most powerful people in the world wandering around, and found a secluded place in the Tiansha realm. And this strong one is called the King of Cold. It is said that after King Cold arrived at the Heavenly Sand realm, someone from the Xian family offended him, and the Xian from the Xian family went out in person and invited another friend of the Xian to go to the King of Cold Qingxiu. He wanted to kill the uninvited guest of King Han. At that time, it also attracted many people to come to watch the excitement. That battle shocked the entire Tiansha realm. Under the siege of the 2 strongest men, without 30 moves, King Han killed one of them, and then when the other strongest man lost the intent to fight, he killed him after 3 moves. 33 moves before and after. Kill the 2 strongest. At that time, the Chiming Mountain Chiming Demon Venerable who was present bluntly said that even if it was him, he did not dare to say that he could defeat King Han. After the war, King Han became famous in Tiansha, and his secluded and pure cultivation place became a forbidden place for people in Tiansha, and no one dared to approach him and disturb him. It is said that the member of the Xian family was disturbed by King Han and was abolished by King Han, and then the following things happened. It turned out to be him. Strength, at least comparable to the existence of the top Xians in Tiansha. Tan Xiateng's heart was shaken. It is said that the last time this King of Cold appeared, it was in Wuyong City. The 5 strongest people in Wuyong City. The King of Cold together killed 2 people and escaped 3 of them. For a while, when Tan Xueqi looked at King Han again, apart from fear in the depths of his eyes, only fear was left. "Young man, you have come to Guilan City, Liangu. But you plan to leave Liangu and go to Pingxiong?" King Han asked with a smile. The current King Han looks like an elegant scribe, as if chatting with his friends, without any part of it. "Senior Han Wang, I am planning to go to Pingxiong realm." Duan Lingtian nodded. "Haha." The Cold King laughed. "That's a coincidence. I also plan to go to Pingxiong realm to visit my old friend. Or else, how about you and me along the way? Invited to travel by a strong person. If you are an average person, you may be flattered." But Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel jealous. What exactly does King Han want to do? He didn't think that a strong person would invite him to go with him just because he had only met him twice. The other party has a plan out of 10. Thinking of what happened to Qi Demon Ridge when he first came to the outside world in the past, Duan Lingshan's heart rose sharply. You don't need to be nervous. At the same time, King Han apparently saw Duan Lingshan's vigilance, and said with a slight smile, I have one thing for you to walk with me, and I want you to help. Chapter 44-51. The next words of King Han made Duan Lingtian completely stunned. Something, want to help yourself? Han King, but the best among the Xians. With this kind of existence, what can't be done by oneself? Need someone to help? Furthermore, let's find him. Is it possible that the King of Cold has discovered a place where the strongest cannot enter the ruins, and wants to find non-strongest ones to enter and share a piece of the pie? Duan Lingtian couldn't help but guess like this. However, as soon as this speculation appeared in his mind, he suppressed it again. Even if it is so, King Han can't find someone temporarily. He is looking for someone, and there are many people to find. I am not the invincible high-ranking deity. I am close to the existence of the invincible high-ranking deity. With the strength and status of the Cold King, it is not difficult to find it. It shouldn't be this, Duan Lingtian secretly said. As if seeing Duan Lingtian's doubts, King Han smiled and said, "Don't worry, it's just a matter of effort for you. I have an old friend in the Pingxiong realm, and there is a junior underneath the old friend. He is extremely talented. Just after long live, I realized the law of death, one of the 4 highest laws, into the realm of small perfection, and because of this he is talented. I am proud and suffered a lot of small losses for this, but I still go my own way, which makes my old friend a headache." According to my old friend's words, unless you can find someone who is more talented and stronger than him, and you can compete with him and beat him dignifiedly, maybe he can be honest. Of course your strength may not be able to defeat him, but it is not difficult to think about it if you want to fight with him. If someone who is older than him gets a draw with him, he might not mind. But you are less than 10,000 years old, obviously much younger than him. If you can get a draw with him, for him, undoubtedly it was a huge blow, and it was obvious that he was inferior to you or even far inferior to you. In this case, he will inevitably be much more honest. Speaking of this, King Han looked at Duan Lingtian with a deeper smile on his face. If you can achieve what my old friend wants, I won't be stingy. And my old friend, I won't be stingy. This matter is just a matter of effort for you. After hearing King Han's words, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized that he dared to feel that King Han wanted to call himself, and went to his old friend in the Pingxiong realm, and by the way, educate the younger of his old friend. Just after long live, I realized the law of death, one of the 4 supreme laws, into the realm of small perfection. Even Duan Lingtian was shocked. This kind of genius, even if you look at the entire outside world, and even the 10,000 realms, I am afraid that it is a top-notch genius. In the future, as long as the talent is not a flash in the pan, as long as it is not halfway through, as long as it is not bad luck, it can almost be concluded that he will become the strongest. Of course, Duan Lingtian disapproved of what King Han said, that he was at most tied with the opponent. In the old days, in Wuyang City, although he made a shot, he did not do his best. Furthermore, he is now better than when he was in Wuyang City. Now, even if he faced the 3 big monsters close to the invincible upper gods under the chiming mountain demon Venerable, even if he was not sure to defeat any of them, he was sure to fight with them. He can't help the other party, and the other party can't help him. How? Han Wang looked at Duan Lingtian as if he was thinking, and asked again. At this time, Duan Lingtian also came back to his senses, and at the same time agreed, since the Cold King has this assignment, the younger generation will naturally not refuse. Moreover, I really want to pass through the Pingxiong realm. It is a great honor for me to be accompanied by Senior Han Wang all the way. Faced with a powerful person like King Han, even Duan Lingtian knew that he had to be careful. This kind of existence, if you want to kill him at all, it will be difficult for him to live. Okay. Han King laughed. Since you have agreed, then I will give you the thank you I want to give you about this matter in advance. Presumably, this thing will be of great help to you. If you can take this one step further in a short period of time and defeat the younger generation of my old friend, I think my old friend will be even happier. After the voice fell, King Han handed Duan Lingtian a floating shadow orb containing the mirror image of the floating shadow. This floating shadow orb was exactly the same as the one given by the former heavenly sword Situ Lei. The floating shadow mirror recorded by this floating shadow bead cannot be copied. Once you try to copy, not only is it impossible to copy successfully, even this floating shadow bead will self-destruct. This kind of prohibition is very special. Even the Xian can't break it without destroying the floating shadow mirror inside. At the same time, King Han glanced at Tan Xiuting, who was behind Duan Lingtian, and then a sound transmission was transmitted to Duan Lingtian's ears in a timely manner. In this floating shadow bead, there is recorded an invincible upper who is good at space laws. Zun fights against another invincible high-ranking god. Hearing King Han's words, Duan Lingshan's pupils suddenly contracted, and even his breathing became disordered in an instant. Invincible high-ranking god? Furthermore, is he still an invincible high-ranking deity who is good at the laws of space? For Duan Ling Tian, this is undoubtedly the real treasure, at least for him at this stage. It is an absolute treasure. In the past, he probably didn't have much idea about this kind of thing, but since he got such a floating shadow bead in the hands of the heavenly sword Situ Lei, his spatial law that hasn't entered the territory for a long time, in a short time, there is a very obvious improvement. If he can get such another floating shadow orb, it will undoubtedly further accelerate his advancement in the law of space. Floating shadow mirroring against another invincible high-ranking god? Especially this point made Duan Ling Tian realize that the floating shadow orb given by King Han is more precious than that given by the heavenly sword Situ Lei. After all, the latter is only given by an invincible high-ranking who is good at the laws of space. Fight against the existence of a non-invincible high-ranking god. Two invincible high-ranking gods fought against each other. This kind of floating shadow mirror image, looking beyond the horizon, and even the 10,000 realms, is a first-class treasure, and even most of the strongest people will be moved by it and participate in the competition. Before Duan Ling Tian had time to recover, the floating shadow orb had already floated in front of him. At the same time, before his eyes flashed, King Cold had disappeared out of thin air, leaving a cold air permeating the void, and then gradually disappeared. I will stay at the Yantian Army's main mansion for the rest of the time. When you are done with your business, come to me directly. Then, tell the guard on duty in front of the Yantian Army's main mansion and say yes. Just come to me. The voice of King Han seemed to float slowly into Duan Lingshan's ears from a very far away. Recovered, Duan Ling Tian grabbed the floating shadow bead floating in front of him with one hand, and then collected it like a treasure. At this moment, his disordered breathing not only did not calm down, but also tended to become more disordered. For a while, he couldn't help taking a deep breath, trying to calm his mood. He had to be excited. The floating shadow beads given by King Han can be said to be something he wants to get in his dreams, something he can't refuse at all. But that senior cold king just gave me the things in advance. Don't you worry that I will run away with the treasure without doing anything for him? Together with the thoughts, Duan Ling Tian suppressed it again. However, I am now in this Guilin city and want to flee privately with my treasure. I am afraid it is impossible. Not to mention his spiritual knowledge, it is enough to easily spread out and monitor my every move in Guilin city. It is not relying on himself. As long as he greets, the people from the heavenly army will probably stare at me. Hearing the last words of King Han just now, it is not difficult to hear that King Han is very familiar with the leader of the Yantian army, that is, the leader of the Yantian army. He went to Yantian army's main mansion. Maybe he went to talk to the old man. Chapter 4452. Certainly. According to Duan Lingshan's behavior, it is impossible to take the advantage of King Han and flee privately with his treasure. Knowing the good news has always been his code of conduct. Don't talk about King Han, but said that he was imprisoned by the strongest red demon in the Red Demon Ridge and made a promise with the dead Wang Yiyuan. Duan Ling Tian never thought of breaking the promise. Regarding Wang Yiyuan, the victim was dead. Even if Duan Ling Tian didn't make a promise, no one would know and no one would say anything. However, he went to Lan Xiaocheng personally and fulfilled his promise. With this floating shadow bead, my law of space will definitely go further. Thinking of this, Duan Lingshan's eyes were shining, and at the same time he couldn't wait to observe the floating shadow mirror recorded in the floating shadow beads. Let's find an inn to settle down first. Look at the floating shadow mirror first. According to the predecessor of the Cold King, in this floating shadow mirror, the opponent of the invincible upper who is good at the laws of space is another invincible upper god. I don't know what rules the invincible high-ranking is good at. Under curiosity, Duan Ling Tian became more and more looking forward to the soul bead given by King Han. Soon, he found an inn, opened 2 rooms, and lived in one with Tan Xiuting. Tan Xiuting, although he was curious as to why his young master came to the inn when he first entered the city, after all, their cultivation level would not be exhausted. But in the end he didn't ask much. He knew that this young master must have his own ideas. Perhaps, it has something to do with the floating shadow beads given by the strong one earlier. That floating shadow bead should have recorded a very precious floating shadow mirror. Just now, the The young master was obviously a little gaff. Tan Xueqi secretly said, and the floating shadow mirror that can make this young master such a gaff is at least the floating shadow mirror shot by the upper gods who comprehend the law of space to the realm of small perfection. It might even be a floating shadow mirror shot by an invincible upper who is good at the laws of space. Thinking of later, Tan Xiateng's heartbeat also couldn't help but jumped sharply. If it is such a floating shadow mirror, it is a treasure that even the strongest can dream of. Among the most powerful, there are few who are good at the law and understand the realm of Dzogchen, and for them, if they can get the shadow of the invincible upper who can understand the law they are good at to the realm of Dzogchen. Mirroring is also very helpful to them in understanding the law. Duan Lingtian didn't know Tan Xiateng's guess. Even if he knew it, he wouldn't care. At least, there is no need to worry that Tan Xueqi will be disadvantageous to him until the master and servant contract of the Blood Oath is terminated that day. Look at another invincible high-ranking god. What kind of law is good at it? After returning to the room, Duan Lingtian first took out a few formation plates and arranged several compression formations to cover him, and then took out the floating shadow beads, and his spiritual consciousness synced into them. In the next instant, his whole person seemed to be pulled into another space. This is an abyss with no end in sight, and the surrounding area is dim. Here, Duan Lingtian is no stranger to hearing this. Here it is the endless void. There are many powerful people in the buffer space between the 10,000 realms and even the places outside the realms. They all choose to meditate in this endless void and feel the purest road. The floating shadow mirror shot by the invincible high-ranking gods. It is said that only the strongest and the invincible high-ranking gods have the ability to record. This floating shadow mirror image was also processed by the Xeon and the invincible high-ranking gods to slow them down. If there are really two invincible high-ranking gods fighting in front of me on the scene, I am afraid it will be difficult to see how they are fighting. Duan Lingtian had seen the strongest fight against each other with his own eyes. At that time, although his strength was not as good as now, he was not much weaker, but he couldn't see anything clearly. The invincible high-ranking god, although not as strong as the strongest, but they played against each other, it was extremely difficult for Duan Lingtian to see clearly. Suddenly, in front of Duan Lingshan's eyes, a tall figure appeared. It was a middle-aged man wearing a blue robe. Piece of endless void fit. Standing there gives people a simple and unpretentious feeling, but it seems to be integrated with this world, regardless of you and me. He is the invincible high-ranking who is good at the laws of space. At a glance, without even needing the opponent to take action, Duan Lingtian confirmed the identity of the person in front of him. That is, the invincible high-ranking deity who comprehended the law of space in the mouth of King Han to the realm of Dzogchen. Yu Tian, today you and I will preside over the next battle in Kong Jesuan, both to decide the victory and defeat, but also to life and death. Suddenly, a voice spread, resounding through the endless void. And Duan Lingshan's heart was suddenly turbulent at this moment. Kong Jesuan? Jesuan? Is it a realm powerhouse? This mirror image of the floating shadow is recorded by the realm powerhouse? At this moment, Duan Lingtian also realized that his current field of vision may have been the field of vision of a powerful real mist, and it was from this angle that the other party recorded the scenes in front of him. He Joyo. Another figure appeared in front of Duan Lingshan's eyes. The person who appears now is an old man wearing a gray robe. The old man has white hair and white eyebrows, and he has a childlike face. Standing in the void, his figure is sometimes illusory and sometimes cohesive, giving people a feeling of erratic uncertainty. The old man appeared with a calm and natural voice. Today, let Kong Jesuan witness. Is your Dzogchen space law strong, or my Dzogchen time law strong? The sound came out, and Duan Lingshan's heart, which had not yet calmed down, shook violently again. Say, what did he hear? This invincible high-ranking with a childlike appearance, he said. What he is good at is the law of time. The law of time. Duan Lingshan's heart was turbulent. He is not low even in the law of time, and he is close to the realm of small perfection, but recently compared to the law of space. It's just a slight drop. I'm afraid. Even the Cold King Senior did not expect that in addition to the law of space, I am also good at the law of time. The duel between the invincible upper who is good at the law of space and the invincible upper who is good at the law of time. Moreover, it's a life and death duel. For me at this stage, the value of such a floating shadow is difficult to measure. I am afraid that there is no second thing that can be compared with it. At this moment, Rao Duan Lingtian had been accustomed to seeing strong winds and waves along the way, and his heart was still full of uncontrollable excitement, which was difficult to calm down for a long time, You're tuning into the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.